But
I
the
went
real question is how ready is ready?
How ready do you want to be?
positively.
Like are
Like
you
I've just doubled our view account by logging onto Twitch so that we can see if anyone's in the chat.
good? So you're doing your job.
Fucking hell, I need to wake up.
Might behoove us.
There you go. And we're live. I forgot we gotta do that now.
Where was the music? I feel not personally slighted on behalf of the viewers for us not being able to hear the music and therefore commenting over the music like we normally do. Hello. We are no longer back like a renegade master, a beatbox damager. The people shall have their voice at the ballot box, unless you live in a totalitarian society. Hello, welcome to Pixel Pints on a somewhat poignant day for the world. Anyone who thinks that 9/11 was just something that happened in America, you are completely wrong. It's changed everything about how international travel happens. And on behalf of all of us, I'd like to say we are thinking of all those people who've been affected by it, because it is not just something that happened once 20 years ago. It's something that is still affecting major parts of the world in terms of foreign policy. But if you can, sit back, have a coffee, or crack open a beer, depending on your time zone and religious beliefs. And we're going to talk about some games for an hour or so. Today, we're joined by Mikey, voice of many things and professional Sebastian Chabal impersonator. Mikey, how's things?
Things are very good. And interestingly, actually, a year ago today is when I bought my house. So it was not on purpose, but that's when the closing date happened. So unironically, I will never forget either of those two events.
Yeah, it's interesting because I always equate what happened that day with having a massive row with one of my housemates at university, because everyone else in the house wanted to see what was going on at quite possibly the most poignant global event at that time, and he just wanted to play Madden on PS2. So we had a bit of a row as a house, and agreed that he could unplug the PlayStation from the TV in the living room because everyone else wanted to watch the news. And he took the PlayStation into another room and played Madden for about 8 hours. Because he's a completely selfish narcissist. Mitch, how's things with you? How's things in LA?
Good. Yeah, it's good. Illness gone. Hooray. Gonna go see football tomorrow. Opening night, SoFi Stadium. Hooray.
Send pictures, because I've only seen the virtual tour.
Well, so I'm already gonna video chat with my dad. So I was gonna say, if you guys message me on Discord, if you're up super late, I could video stream it to you guys, being like, "Here's my seat." If you're up at like 2 a.m, maybe. Who knows?
Oh, is it the late game? No, I shan't be up.
It's Sunday Night Football. OTTAPPS, if you're watching the stream, he just messaged me. I can't look at your message. Wait, I can't on my phone. Never mind.
He was wondering if he can join. It just means you do some on-the-fly adjustments.
Yes, he can join. Absolutely. Hop on.
Yeah, just join in Discord. But I won't ask you how you work, so we need to move on.
But yes, how are you? And we got a PlayStation showcase. Like, what? We got the Matrix trailer. There's just so much happening this week that has just got me so excited. But anyways, Keith, how have you been?
I'm good, thank you, Mitch. I'm tired. I spent 5 hours in meetings yesterday, interspersed with 5 hours of travel, which is the first time I've had to travel for work in a very long time, and it felt quite painful. But I came home, I had some beers, and generally felt better about the world. Speaking of beers, does anyone have any beers or beverages they want to talk about?
I do.
I do not, because I am saving my voice.
All right. Yeah, actually on that, I'm going to bring this back up here. Sorry. Change places.
Just the armpit view for only 10 minutes for the fetish people.
I'm going to keep this head up there.
And you can have armpit cam if you sub 2 subs.
Ooh. That is my only Shams account. All right. So what I picked up when I was down at the beach is a what the hell even is that?
So Evan would already hate that because of the name.
Sour India Pale Ale with vanilla beans, strawberry puree, and strawberry power belts, and turmeric, F&DC red number 40, and F&C green number 3.
That doesn't sound appealing.
It doesn't, but we're about to see.
I was thinking it might pour bright orange or something like that.
It's not bright orange. At first I was going to say that's actually surprisingly good, and then that's not surprisingly good.
Initially it's surprisingly good and then becomes surprisingly bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, but it's... Wow, I will actually end that with what the hell is even that? Because the sour up front is actually very good, but then the strawberry and strawberry puree brings a middle of the tongue sweetness that I
thought you were going to say
like.
It brings a middle finger to the flavor profile.
That's not too dissimilar either. That is odd. That is odd. Would not buy again.
It looks really like a weak milkshake or some kind of fruit juice that's maybe gone off.
I mean, it's not horrible, but I'm like, also it's undercarbonated, so.
Okay, so that's a 2 thumbs down on the DIMP digital scale. We'll get to our late attendee in a moment.
Before you show off. I was going to show you something cool. Showing the cool things, like, you know, if I don't come with beer, I come with cool stuff. Found this.
Is that one of the wireless Super Nintendo controllers?
No, it's a tin, and it has berry candy on the inside.
Nintendo will flog anything, won't they?
I found it at World Market. It's a store that basically just has all these kinds of different foods and toys and furniture and whatever things from all over the world. So I ended up having what they called it, salsa fresca bacon. I'm not bacon, salsa fresca beef jerky, which tasted like carnitas. It was fascinating. But I also picked up butternut squash pasta sauce, so I'm excited to try that. But anyway, yeah,
not anyone. Most people in the UK and Europe saying salsa fresca and carnitas.
This is what the candy looks like. Slow.
Don't get stopped by the police with them on you.
It's berry flavored. Why would I?
Well, they kind of look like something. What we'd call in this country Class A's.
Yep.
Class A'ing it up, man.
They won't let you on the plane with that.
Not unless you snort it first.
No, you got to get rid of that before you go on.
Right. So I have.
Hey, it was a color combo. That's why.
So it's also purple, but mine is definitely not a controlled substance. Well, alcohol is technically a controlled substance. It's Sierra Nevada easy little thing IPA.
Ooh.
The Session Edition. So I don't know if they do a stronger version of this, but this is 4.6% ABV. I saw this in a craft beer and cheese shop in Reading called the Grumpy Goat. So if anyone is anywhere near Reading in Berkshire, go to the Grumpy Goat, get yourself a cheese platter. They do charcuterie as well. And they do a massive selection of British and international beers, of which this was one. Not too cheap though. It is hazy. It's also very pale. It kind of looks like someone's put too much lemon in their lemonade.
Yeah, I can see that.
I recognise that from after having a night out in the morning.
Is that was in your toilet?
Sorry, Keith. I know you're trying to enjoy that bit.
Thanks for that imagery. As long as you didn't say it's something that the dog did on the carpet or something like that. Don't know if that's better or worse. I'm going to stop with this analogy now. It's surprisingly fruity. I wasn't expecting it to be this citrusy as well. You get very little on the nose. Just a few kind of herbal floral tones, and then not very bitter at all. It's quite nice, yeah. As a session beer, I'd easily have a couple, and then change up the flavour and move on to something else. Right, Mr. Better Late Than Pregnant.
Look pregnant. Got the body.
You were very stern. You were very stern looking when you first joined. Thanks for dropping on to talk all things PlayStation. How are things in Essex? Do you have any beers or beverages you want to talk about?
No beers or beverages. I just had a bottle of wine that I finished, and I thought I better stop there. So I just had a bit of red. But yeah, no beers or beverages, but always good to hang out and chat some video games with you fine folk. And good to be on here with Mikey, who is basically the voice of Dimp Digital at this stage. He does our little small intro and outro for us. So he is a man of many talents.
If you need any new ones, always give me a ring.
I will, definitely.
Yeah, Mikey accepts Bitcoin, PayPal payments. There was one episode of Dimp Digital where he didn't do the intro. So I was wondering if maybe he'd sent you a DMCA takedown strike because you hadn't paid his invoice.
No, that's just me having to not be skilled enough to edit properly, and I forget things. And I think I've got things set up correctly now, but there's always a chance that I will not put something in the flow that I should do. You
know what you should just do is just have a template and then never leave the intro and the outro.
I know.
Well,
I know this.
The other thing I anticipate is you guys having him just introduce everything. So it's just like not only like presents digital, but then he'd just go presents PlayStation episode presents. It's just like
he could present all the topics.
Yeah. Is it just get Mikey to do say loads and loads of different words, and then you can just piece them together in whatever order you want.
What do you want?
But if we're ready to move on, we're here to talk about the recent PlayStation showcase. Are you so hyped that your buttocks are more clenched than if you had a diarrhea attack on a public transport service? Because that's how hyped PlayStation want you to be. Jim Ryan wants you to have a loose wallet but a tight ring piece.
Jim Ryan wants to be that excited. He shouldn't be opening the show. He should stay away off the screens and let the games speak for themselves. But
I made myself laugh. Right, so PlayStation Showcase. To get a couple of things out of the way. Dear PlayStation, we know what the sacred symbols are, as coined by Colin Moriarty. You don't have to show them at every single interstitial between every single goddamn trailer. I don't care how pretty they move in 4K or whatever, just don't bother. I just found it annoying.
Yep, I agree.
And then the other thing, the weird, unnecessary introduction with someone playing giant chess with a picture of Kratos and Loki, boy, in the background, and loads of other things. The woman running through the turnstiles, and the cross shows up. Oh, it was a cross at the turnstiles. Fuck off.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, I remember they made one advert that was pretty cool, which was the Perfect Day one. If you look that up on YouTube, that was a nice sort of live action advert to PlayStation. But this was just like, I was like, they've got 40 minutes, and I was thinking, why are they wasting 3 minutes of time on this? It's got to be pretty lean. So hopefully, I don't have to sit through that again.
Oh,
Either
but there was a
cut up
guy who
or-
had rings on his fingers that had the PlayStation symbols on, so it was great. It's like, no, spend the time on the stuff that the people want to see, which is trailers, not Jim Ryan.
No, not Jim Ryan.
I mean, you can complain about it, but at least they brought it. Like in the end,
well, they brought
it
it with the trailers. They didn't bring it with the 3.5 minute weird intro with the three people running around and two people playing giant chess.
Yeah, but in the end, they brought it. It's not like if it was like a Microsoft conference and like that's what their intro was, and then all they show you is CG trailers of every single game that eventually will come. But it's just they're just not ready.
Oh, this is Mitch's Xbox hate coming out already. But the one thing about that is that you've got Sony is saying they don't want to do E3 because for various different reasons. They don't have to, but two, the cost, and then they must have splashed, I don't know, a couple of $1 million on that 3.5 minutes.
Well, so I actually looked at the metrics on Twitch itself. There was over 250,000 viewers at once.
Yeah,
just on Twitch.
That was the PlayStation official one, and
Correct.
then because I rewatched it on the GameSpot one,
right? Like that's just
and there's
PlayStation.
285,000
Right,
on that, and then
and
IGN was catching the stream as well, and there was another few 100,000 people watching that.
And then people watch it on their favorite streamer. Like it's to be honest, this is why PlayStation doesn't go to E3 anymore. They have the eyes. It doesn't.
I know they don't need to, but that doesn't. If you're going to spend money on stuff, spend money on the right stuff.
Oh, sure.
And
I mean, I don't disagree. Like that, I guess the trailer reminded me of old school PlayStation in regards to like their old advertisements. Those things just kind of wash by me. Let's like,
yeah,
I could care less because if they didn't bring it in regards to like quality of games and trailers and all that kind of stuff, then I would be like, why the hell did you show this? But like in this, it's just like, it's right away at the beginning. Just I'll get over it.
Yeah. Jim didn't apologise to anyone for
Anything.
anything. I thought that was a misstep.
What did he apologize for?
$70 for a start.
70 UK pounds for a start.
Yeah, that's different. That's 70. That's different than $70.
Yeah, which
Exactly.
is $84 at current exchange rate.
Does that make up for the tax? I'm not going to go through the maths, but you know.
No, it doesn't. It's
Was-
still
was-
more than. It's still
Was
more
Jim
than the
Ryan
tax.
actually real, or was he an AI? Because I know a lot of the wasn't it Nvidia that put like a CGI version of their leaders out there. Like, was that really?
Did the Jim bot work this time?
Was it Jim bot, or was it him in the flesh? I want to know. Can we get that confirmed somewhere?
At least when Big Phil steps on stage wearing his insert game developer T-shirt and the leather jacket, you know it's Big Phil. Whereas we don't know if Jim Ryan's
We
real.
don't know if there's a battery pack behind that jacket.
He does look a bit androidish, does old Phil. At least Jim just looks old and haggard at this point. Like,
And
you can
then-
tell he's human. He's gone through life. Whereas I think Phil's looking a little bit musky, as I call it.
They turn the meter for Phil Spencer, being like, if it's going to be about Halo, get the hype meter up as high as possible.
Crank up the power on his back.
Yeah.
Before we get into the actual games, does anyone have any kind of overall feelings that they want to share about the opening?
I mean, we slightly talked about it just a second ago, but I'm just going to reiterate. This is why PlayStation doesn't need E3. Like the viewership of eyes that can come to them on a screen. Like I will advocate to say I wish PlayStation was at E3. But as a business, I completely understand why they do not need them. And to be honest, if I was E3, I'd be going to PlayStation saying, what's it going to take to get you guys to show up again? Like, to be honest, if they came back to E3, I think E3 would come back to be what it was again. Because I think they are a key component of that. And I would say the same thing if Microsoft was gone. And they
Well,
were getting,
technically they are,
Well-
but it depends. I think behind the scenes
but
is
no, I'm talking about the conference. Like if they were gone and not doing a conference, and they were getting this much viewership on their, because I don't think they hit this much in viewership in regards to their showcases. But if they were getting this much viewership, I would say bring them back too. Like it's just
yeah.
like,
How many views on Bing do you think they got?
for who?
I know anyone. Does anyone use Bing?
Well, Phil keeps trying to make me use Bing because he gives me Xbox or what is it, Microsoft reward points. If you do like 5 searches a day, you can hand in a quest.
Well, it's like what, trying to make fetch happen. Stop making it trying to make it happen.
Right. Let's talk some games. We're going to run through in order. We're
You
not gonna
say
do-
trying to make fetch happen is a quest?
Ooh,
That's a Saints Row.
that's a tenuous joke.
That's a Saints Row mission right there.
Um,
Trying to make fetch happen.
So first up, it was the remake of KOTOR. We really want a remake of KOTOR. There was no release date or anything, just saying it's coming to PS5. There was some talk afterwards about, is it going to be a time PlayStation exclusive, full PlayStation exclusive, but it did say in the trailer that it's coming to PC as well.
Oh, sorry. For logistics reasons, before you keep going, Keith, Mike and OTTAPPS, if you guys want, if you watch the stream that is on Discord, you will see the B-roll.
Okay.
Also, you will see like when I go in and out of B-roll. So if you want to point something out, then you can. So okay, go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
These guys should know this already. I don't know why you just told them that. I mean, they're big enough and ugly enough to look after themselves. They don't need you to hold
This is the
their hand.
first time doing this new Discord
Yeah,
system.
I've not been on since Mitch started making effort with it. Like before, it was all very laid back. It was like do what you want. I had to get a mic, headset, the lot. Otherwise, I wasn't allowed on. And now we've got B-roll. This is excellent.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know who Aspire are. Does anyone know anything else that they've done?
Not really. I know that they had done some ports for Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Outcast to the PS4 and Switch and some other games. But in terms of like original games, I can't honestly hand on heart say I could say they made that. But I don't know if anyone else has any insight as to who or what
either.
Aspire are. No.
Anyone have access to Google? I don't care enough really. I will wait for this game to come out. Will I pay £70 to play this on a PS5? I'd need to be able to get my hands on a PS5 for a start. That's not second hand.
Same here.
I really want. I want to get excited for this, but because, as Mitch will know, it's just a teaser trailer. There's nothing to show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the KOTOR version of Please Be Excited for.
Yes.
I mean,
Which I think is enough for a lot of people that are fans of KOTOR. They've been like wanting this for a while.
Oh, I am one of those people. Me and
yeah.
Dave from Somerset.
Like-
He loves two things. I'm assuming one of those is his family, and the other is KOTOR.
and I was
The
gonna
other
say,
one could be cider.
And I was gonna say, if you're gonna do like a teaser trailer where you have nothing to show but you're just giving a title, this is the perfect one. Like, and I complain about CG trailers all the time, but like this is the one time where like it's okay. It's like very mild. Show off something like, okay, guy with lightsaber, like it's like iconic character for
Guy with
KOTOR.
lightsaber. You mean Darth Revan?
I'm sorry, I don't know KOTOR. Like that's the thing.
You need to play KOTOR. It's a fucking brilliant game.
See,
It's the best Star Wars
but
game.
that's why I'm excited to play the remake. Like that's why that's why I'm excited for it. But at the same time, like I said, I complain about CG trailers. This is one where it's like a teaser and it works because it gives you something to look forward to. But it's very
Mikey,
minor,
any
quick
thoughts on
to the point.
KOTOR?
It is one of those things that has been like hallowed and just really talked up over the years, and I've seen some people play it, and I am personally excited to possibly give it a try, but I personally don't have any experience with KOTOR aside from everyone always, especially when BioWare goes down, because BioWare was the original KOTOR?
Yes.
Okay, so Obsidian
Obsidian.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Obsidian.
sorry.
But it was published
So-
by BioWare? Was
So-
that?
Yeah, it was published
Okay.
by BioWare. It was, or am I getting KOTOR 2 mixed up?
I think they did KOTOR 2 Obsidian.
Yeah, Obsidian did KOTOR 2. Was it Sith Lords?
Yes.
And
The,
then, BioWare was KOTOR. Yeah.
But it's one of those games that just everyone always trumps as this is like the Star Wars game. If you want characters and if you want lore and if you want like just amazing stories, and it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this one of the games that the Act 2 or Act 3 twist is considered one of the better story beats in video games?
It was also one of the first games to bring in the kind of quote-unquote morality meter, because it had the light side, dark side meter.
Yeah, I don't know what the twist is. It's probably been mentioned at me, but because I didn't play the game, it like just fell into a recycle bin of thoughts. So whatever the actual twist is, I actually don't know, and so I'm kind of excited to possibly play this game because I really don't know anything about it besides its pedigree.
One thing I would say is I really want them to update the combat, because the combat in the first game is so dated now.
I was going to ask, like, what is the actual gameplay of this?
Don't even think about it. Maybe go and just watch a snippet on YouTube, and then have the same thought as me, which is I really hope they've done something with the combat. I really hope they've done something with the voice acting as well, because the voiced characters were really done brilliantly, but the NPCs, they just recycled the same sound loop over and over and over and over again.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I got about 5 or 6 hours into this before I stopped. This was about 4 years ago, so I'd already been spoilt by, like you said, Keith, the different gameplay and combat mechanics. And I think I got stuck on a bug as well, and that didn't help. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to leave this. And I know this said twist that you're referring to without actually getting to it in the game, so I'm kind of exposed in that point. But I'm still excited to play this in a modern kind of setting. Like if they can update, like you mentioned, some of the issues I had with the combat and NPC dialogue, just make it feel like a modern game, then I think the bones of the story will carry it through. And if they can keep that, you know, it's set in the Star Wars universe before sort of, is it 3,000 or 2,000 years?
3,000 years before the BBY, before the Battle of Yavin.
So perfect really setting, because you can do a lot of things there. But they've got a great template, as Mitch mentioned earlier, to work off here. So I'm really excited for this.
It's third person, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And is it all lightsaber combat, or
No?
Okay.
No, so you can only use a lightsaber in this game if you're a force wielder.
Okay. But
And
you're not shoehorned into being a force wielder.
No, because you can't flick, in the original game, you could flick between characters in your party.
Okay, all right. So,
and also because this was set so far in the past, lightsabers weren't necessarily a thing. So there was kind of sword combat as well, as well as blasters. But I don't know why you bring a sword to a blaster fight. Who does that? Idiot.
Gotcha. The so it's a party-based game. It's not, you're not a single character. So it's a party-based. Okay, so like, all right, I'm bringing up some BioWare mechanics going on here. So like some
you've got your own ship.
Stuff.
You have conversations with people who you recruit on the way.
Yeah.
It's a proper deep RPG.
Mm-hmm.
But the combat is really dated by today's standards.
You know the combat I'm thinking of that it really would.
The combat
go well
is real time, correct? Though.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
The combat I think that really would go well with modernizing it a bit is Dragon's Dogma.
I've not played it, so you'll need to elaborate.
It's much more. How do I describe Dragon's Dogma's combat?
I can if you're struggling.
It's got the RPG elements in regards to like magic spells, all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of a little more hack and slashy. But it does have location is important of where you're attacking the enemy still. It's like, let's see. Well, I'm trying to think of another comparison of another RPG that would have similar combat. I don't know, Mike.
Whilst you're thinking about that, Mikey, please explain.
Dragon's Dogma combat is, in general, a fast-paced action adventure combat style, because there were three main like combat styles you could go, like sword and board, quick, and magic caster. All the actions are actually happening in a relatively fast-paced nature, but just like he was saying, that your positioning is very important, because there are a lot of attacks that either group up and are based on an AoE type thing, or because there's our gigantic monsters, you actually will climb atop monsters and have to attack them in very specific points. And so it's kind of mixing a little bit of Shadow of the Colossus with a very fast-paced Capcom action adventure game, because that's what it is. Dragon's Dogma, fast-paced. It's a Capcom game, but what he's talking about is because you have other party members, but they are soulless vessels that you either build or recruit from other people, which was the kind of weird hook mechanic of the game, and it gave you a glimpse into the soul of the people who sent their different party members out into the wild. So KOTOR, like, do you have a main character, or do you have a main
Yes, you
party?
are the main character.
Okay.
You are the main protagonist.
But do you control the other characters?
You can do, yeah. So you can select their abilities.
Could you passively
So
play the game entirely yourself?
They will fight for themselves by themselves, or you can choose to take control of them and select their abilities. It's more turn-based, but it was kind of turn-based in real time, so you can stack. So you want someone to shoot, and then you want them to throw a grenade, then you want them to shoot, and then you can you can pick who you wanted to do each of those actions onto.
So it's like Dragon Age.
Yeah, well, Dragon Age would have come after this, so the Dragon Age would have been a further iteration of what happened with this.
Yeah.
But I want something more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like that, then I would say I want the combat system to be Final Fantasy VII Remake's combat system.
Potentially, yeah.
The mix where you can do hotkeys with commands with yourself and your party members, but then also you can slow it down and do do turn-based style.
Granular tweaking too.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, that kind of combat system, I think, is one of the best evolutions of the turn-based combat system I've ever seen. Like, really, okay. I think it's.
I just wish I could get the game.
We've spent too long talking about a teaser trailer, so we're going to move on to the next game, which I've called Not Bayonetta.
Project Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Also known as Not Devil May Cry.
No.
Also, not wearing pants.
Yeah, not Nier either. I was thinking it might be some sort of extension of the Nier franchise just for the combat, but
there were some rather teasing upskirt angles if the female character had been wearing a dress or skirt of some description. So when I was making my notes, I wrote cue totally unnecessary slow-mo of bottom shot.
Yeah, the bottom and the cooch did feature very prominently in this B-roll.
I will admit,
there we go.
I'm a sucker.
There we go. On cue, Mitch rolls it up.
I was gonna say, I'm a big sucker for a killer ponytail, and that ponytail is killer, man. Like, it reminds me of Nariko from Heavenly Sword, like that wild hair ponytail that just whips around as you're whipping other people around with your swords. Actually, this game reminds me a lot of that in regards to like how combat is.
Yeah, there was also some kind of Sonic Adventures Vanquish vibes from the one shot where they were like skating or surfing down like a space tunnel.
The tube, whatever that was.
The space tunnel.
Space tunnel. Whenever you say space tunnel, I think of Space Bridge, which makes me think of Transformers, which makes me think I would rather watch every single episode of Transformers more so than play this game.
Yeah, it seems generic. That's the only thing.
I'd play it, but I don't know if I'd buy it. Is the thing.
Like, it's one of those things where you won't know till you get your hands on it. I don't think. Yeah. If it feels, if it's really good combat and it feels nice, I think it's got a chance. But I can't see there being a nice narrative hook for people who enjoy that part. It's an action game, So if the combat feels great and you're into getting involved with an action game, this could be that. But it looks good in the trailers. But until you get your hands on it or have some hands-on impressions that you trust from another source, it's tricky to kind of
So
say.
in the B-roll, Mitch just flashed up some of the enemies very much looked like the mimics from Prey.
Yeah.
Some of the others, I just think, what is it with tentacles? Whoever is in this.
#Japan. Like
In its defense, there are no robot enemies, it appears, which is normally the stock sort of enemy these days, particularly for Nier. So I was pleased to see some sort of extraterrestrial enemy on this. But
organic.
Yeah.
Some organism that I can slice up. But I don't know who Shift Up are, the developer, either. I can't say.
Never heard of them.
I know. So again, it's like, what's the pedigree here? We don't really know, but we sort of, a decent chunk of it to know exactly how the. Well, not exactly how, but
quality looks good.
It does look good. Yeah.
The other thing it kind of reminds me of, I wonder if it's a slight mix of a Souls game spin-off with a little more action in it, because it does seem to have that 1-to-1 mono style combat. And
fighting giant enemies.
Yeah,
big old bosses.
Big old bosses, but I think the movement and there's the tunnel part you're talking about, but it's got some extra little oomph to the movement, which I think can change up the combat a little bit more. Actually, this is my first time watching the B-roll for this game, and actually, I am more excited after watching it. That I think actually,
it looks good.
It looks very good in regards to like a game a fun Souls-like. But then along with some cool
like
killer
Soul,
movement
Devil May
and big,
Cry.
yeah,
Souls,
Devil May
DMC,
Cry.
Nier Automata.
Yeah, there you
Like-
go. It's got a good mix of everything. I just wish they didn't over sexualize her boob shot, because it's like half of her boobs hanging out.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
we all know that me and Japanese media don't get on well.
there's a long list of games that I would love to play that I just know would not pass the wife walking into the basement test.
Because then
Get a
she'd be
lock
like,
on that
"There's-"
basement.
Yeah, put a lock on that basement.
And you've been staring at this for how many dozens of hours?
And what she also would say is, think of your daughter and what she needs to look up to.
And not look up to the skirt that isn't there.
Yeah, because some of the camera angles they chose to do this trailer, it's either straight chest shot and head and neck.
Straight ass shot.
Oh yeah,
Or
absolutely.
the whole
It-
undercarriage,
Like
man.
right when she signed up for a mid-air shot, all they do is go right to the ass, and I'm like, come on, guys! Like what she's doing as a move is pretty cool. Like I don't need to see the booty. I'm good. Like
So could you
I
imagine?
see plenty of the booty when she's walking, and I'm like when she's running as the character, because I'm behind her. So obviously I'm gonna see plenty of the butt. So like it's fine. Just get over it.
Could you
Oddly enough-
imagine?
oddly
Sorry,
enough-
Mikey. Sorry. One thing, Mikey. Well done. You don't like that beer and you're still finishing it. Good job. You paid good money for that. You finish it. Could you imagine in the trailer for the Matrix reanimated, Keanu'd?
Resurrection.
Which one? The new one?
Matrix Keanu'd. That if they'd spent half the time just looking at Keanu Reeves' crutch.
It would
I'm
definitely
sure-
get a niche audience, but
Why?
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on,
it's this
Keith.
kind of.
Look, that's like a standard night out in Essex. It just looked that was normal to me. seeing all that.
I went to university in Newcastle. I've seen Geordie Slappers.
but
Wow,
but,
deep British cut there, man. Deep British cut.
I actually haven't played him, kind of for the same test reasons mentioned. But to be honest, it even seemed, in a way, more sexualized even than Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Like-
No.
She strips off, doesn't she?
I
when
think
you start
I
doing
think
well.
that is
Hold-
10 times more sexualized.
Oh no, hold on. I mean, in this trailer.
Yes.
Like I've watched speedruns and stuff of Bayonetta. I know everything she does, everything she's not wearing when she does whatever. Like Bayonetta is a hyper sexualized dominatrix, and that is the character. But this one, it's like this is the character, but we've also just made the character hyper sexualized. And well, I mean, even that last like enemy that you, so it's like, all right, fully armored, everything. Wait, I'm missing this plate so that these can hang out. Like the very last enemy that like they showed in the B-roll. And,
yeah, the human one with the armor.
And so it's not even like over troping because they're trying to make like here's like, oh, I'm hypersexualized, but I'll just beat the shit out of you and I won't take any of your crap. Is kind of Bayonetta's attitude. And so yes, it is more, the game itself is more sexualized, but the way they chose to present this trailer made me feel in a way like more conscious or uncomfortable than a Bayonetta trailer did.
Yeah. I agree, except for the Bayonetta trailer where they do the shot of her doing the splits and they basically go sweeping across her legs when she's doing that upside down, doing a handstand, doing the splits.
I don't know, maybe because it actually looks like the character looks actually more real. I don't know, because of the tech and the stuff like that. I'm like,
it's been so long since we've seen Bayonetta. I don't even know if that game exists anymore. Like,
this is Bayonetta. This is the Bayonetta.
Yeah. This is Bayonetta. Well, this is why I called it not Bayonetta and not Devil May Cry. Right. Yeah. Quick wrap up before we move on to a completely pointless game that no one's asked for. Editorializing. So that's when Evan would normally say editorialize much, and I normally say shut up, Evan. We know that Evan can't handle his juice. Would we buy Project Eve day one?
Oh, day one? I would not. I would not.
I would need to see more, but I'm intrigued.
You've seen everything.
I need to see more.
Pretty much, yeah.
What I need to see is I need to see more plot, and then I need to understand the combat a little bit more, because to be honest, if the combat system looks as fun as like a Bayonetta game, I will definitely buy this game, because I will buy Bayonetta 3 day one.
70 of your American dollars.
Yeah.
I guess Keith, for me,
even if this game's getting a 9 out of 10,
I'm always usually willing to more shill out the money day one than most other people are, but that's just me.
Yeah, this is you all know that I'm never going to play this.
I know you never will.
Even if it's a 9.8 out of 10, I probably will not pick it up, just because A, time, and B, it like there's a couple of things that just would be difficult to pass by in my family. Like, and I mean, I think it actually looks really cool, but it's just one of those games like, all right, you've done the best version of that, the hyper sexy female protagonist DMC knockoff game, and it looks really good. I hope you do well. I'm probably never going to buy it.
Apps?
Not if based on what we've seen, no, because it's way too early. But if like Mitch said, it come out of, I think, had a 9.8, I'd have to be very tempted. Yeah, so it would depend on.
Did we get a date for that? Was that the one that says spring?
No, there was no date.
No date.
Okay.
No time.
But it looks pretty far along.
It's on the radar. It's there on the radar.
Yeah.
I'll forget about it for 6 months until we see more of it, and then.
To be honest, I just
better idea.
Because some of those set piece moments are pretty, like, wild.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
they looked really cool. But
Well,
I mean,
it's
2022 is starting to look stacked. So like,
It's going to be a sleeper pick for next year's fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on to something that's probably not going to be on anyone's fantasy team: Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So Gearbox announced they're not making any more Borderlands games, but here's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It's not Borderlands, it's Wonderlands.
I gotta be honest, I'm not gonna pick this up day one, but I may end up buying this anyway, because there's a couple of mates of mine that our guilty pleasure is co-oping through the Borderlands games. And we had so much fun doing like Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep and things like that. And like, that was the best that Borderlands has actually done, like, through all the games, 1, 2, and 3 was that. And what I'm going to wait a long time to see is if this game is this improved or this hey, remember that? Remember that? Remember that? Remember that cool thing that we did that you like? Like, that's what I'm afraid of. It being not self-referential, but trying to bounce off the stuff that just kind of reiterate the stuff that people really enjoyed of Assault on Dragon Keep, and not really making any meaningful changes either in humor or presentation or just writing.
Oh, it doesn't seem like the tone has changed one iota.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm worried about, and that's why I'm interested, because I enjoyed that, but I'm definitely not going to pick it up day one. It's going to be a down the line Epic sale, Steam sale, whatever, what have you, and then go through it for a few weeks with my friends, and probably be done with it.
Hard pass from me. Mitch, your thoughts on Tiny Tina's Wonderlands?
Never played a Borderlands game. I've seen like plenty of I've seen plenty of footage that I know this game is not for me, and it will never be for me. Like, I'm not down for this. To me, it looks stupid. Looks real dumb. I'm sorry. For anyone that enjoys these games, I mean, you can love what you love, but for me, it's just, it looks trash. It looks like utter garbage.
I don't mind the art style very much, but I played Borderlands 3, and it was fine. No,
Yeah,
2. I played Borderlands 2. It was fine. Do I ever want to play another Borderlands game again? No.
Yeah, that's
2 was good.
That's why I
2
feel
was
like,
good, and 3 I was really excited for, and then it kind of fell flat. I'm like, oh, I didn't enjoy this nearly as much as I had a good time with 2. And so, even though I was one of those dingbats who shelled out $100 dues for the deluxe edition that gave me all the DLC. The DLC. I have only played one of the DLCs. Like, and the others are supposedly pretty good, but I'm just like, to be honest, I'd rather play Destiny or Mother 3, or unfortunately, I keep coming back to Hearthstone and playing Battlegrounds, and that's my secret sin that I confess to you, and I need help with this.
If you ever want to learn how to play Apex Legends, I'm available to.
I have played
help out with
that. I
that.
have played that. I do enjoy it.
he does take Venmo, PayPal. But I was gonna say, my final thing I was gonna say about it is, like, I feel like if you played one, you've played them all. And
they are very much like that.
I feel like if there's nothing that it offers that is innovative, new, or exciting for itself.
Yeah.
And
if
so,
you played 2,
so
you
literally,
played them
that's
all.
what this game reminds me of. It's like, if I played Borderlands, I don't need to play this. I kind of don't have interest in playing Borderlands, so therefore I should have no interest in playing this.
If you played Borderlands 2, you have gotten everything. Like, that was probably the peak for maybe not accessibility, but just things were fresh and not referential, and so it was fun.
Some of the humor I remember being quite puerile, but that was just me. Apps.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually played through 1 and 2, and a part of the pre-sequel. I was forced to go through them by Hall because he wanted to get all the achievements and all that shit. So I was doing it reluctantly, and they were okay. I can see if there's 4 of you, it being good fun, but
Yeah.
this doesn't appeal to me too much, especially as a solo game. The only thing I kind of noticed from this that there were no like soppy number damages coming off when you shot the enemies, which annoys me in some games. So I was happy to see that. But Tiny Tina's Wonderland, unless somebody gives it to me and pays me to play it, I don't think I will end up getting around to it at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Why was it here? Is it a PlayStation exclusive?
No, it's not. It's all platforms. It just happened to be
Interesting. Okay.
Well,
announced.
like I said, it was like this. These showcases get a lot of eyes on them, so I wonder if the 2K Gearbox and 2K really. Oh, sorry, 2K is no longer affiliated with them. Gearbox really just wanted to get the eyes on the game because this is the first time we're seeing it, right? I thought so.
Yeah, but didn't it say 2K? It did say 2K at the start.
Oh, okay.
There was a
2K
smidge of gameplay before, but almost none. This is the first
so this
real
is
like
their
gameplay.
big blowout. So like, yeah, why
With
would
the
you not
release
do it
date,
at a PlayStation event like this?
Yeah, I can't remember what happened with the break from Gearbox to 2K.
Yeah, that's what I was confused
Because
about.
don't 2K own the rights, so it's not actually Gearbox producing this, and 2K have just said make more Borderlands shit.
And then
'Cause
they
that
were
might-
making,
Gear-
and then, they,
Gearbox-
and then I thought they were
So
making.
Gearbox said they were not doing any more Borderlands, but then they come out with a fucking Tiny Tina thing. So it might be
Maybe-
2K who just
Maybe
said
this
remake.
was already in the works, and they just have to finish it before moving on.
I have no idea.
Whatever.
I've got no idea,
Yep.
and I don't care.
Yeah,
I want to stop talking about it. Thank you all very much. Right, moving on. Forspoken.
wow.
I'm sure people have got thoughts about Forspoken.
Wow. Can I just say first off, Amy Hennig is back, fellas. She's writing this game.
Is
Is
she?
she?
If you don't know who she is, she has been known for writing the Uncharted series. She was doing her own Star Wars game that got cut. And so this is kind of her welcome back, and I kind of see it in the writing,
Yeah.
which then also makes me way more excited to play this game. Also, a more info that came about this game is there are 2 key locations, New York City and then this magical land that she goes into. So there will be 2 worlds that you go through, and I think it offers. I don't know. The one thing that has me going, but like I trust Amy Hennig in regards to her writing, so I think she can pull it off, is the character's self-commentary about the world, and like things happening because she's all of a sudden has magic powers and she's doing like bullet time and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, like I think it's just because we get it all like shot at us like so many times at once that like it comes off as slightly annoying.
Well, previously, all we'd seen of this is
The movie.
movement trailer. It was someone running and jumping.
Oh, and,
Yes.
and then
Yep.
some magic of like vines appearing out of nowhere.
That was Project. Is
Athia.
this from? This is from the team of Project Athia, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the game.
This is
Like a real quick side thing. I well know about Amy Hennig because of Sifted and all sorts of other people like that. But a lot of the older people in the industry talk about Amy Hennig. Amy Hennig. I should not have finished this. What the hell is this beer? It feels like people talk about Amy Hennig like old white people talk about Ronald Reagan. They say it was the shit, but we haven't seen anything from this person in forever. I'm not saying it's her fault, but I'm saying I have not actually been around and caring about the industry since something of hers really has come out.
You haven't played Uncharted 2?
I played Uncharted 2 about 10 years after it came out.
But she wrote that.
Yeah. No, and I'm saying it's awesome, but how long ago was that? And I'm like,
Well, she was working on projects. It's similar to
yeah, I'm not blaming her for it, but I'm saying
It's like Jade Raymond. Like people speak
Yeah.
about, I find they speak about like her quite highly, and then you look at the games that have been launched. I think the last one might have been Watch Dogs, and you're like,
yeah, like
okay, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Mikey. I mean, I was fortunate enough to play through the first three Uncharted games.
I didn't
which
I
are
didn't come
good,
through
but-
it. No, and they're awesome. They're awesome, and I'm not saying that she does bad work.
No,
It's
I get
just-
what you're saying, though. I
it's-
understand.
I haven't seen anything from her in so long that I'm like, I hope for her sake that she can bring back like and show that I never lost this magic. I just have never been able to show the magic I've been working on for all this time.
Well,
And then we
literally
can all
talking
go,
about-
yes. So
Literally talking about magic, the Mitch has got the trailer rolling. One thing I did find was really impressive in this trailer is the effects.
Oh, not the cat.
My God, they looked amazing.
Yeah, they look
Like-
great. They look
like
awesome.
the freeze and geyser explosions and other stuff
So
like that.
yeah, she brings
those
up a
were
load of
very
water
good.
around a load of characters, and then that she moves her hand and that turns to ice. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, that looked good.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Also
that looked good.
It like you look at like the teaser of and the movement and you're like, oh, that looks pretty good. Like, but like context, like how do you do that in like really dense spaces? And like seeing the movement in it too was really really nice, especially with the grapple hook. And I was like, oh my god, okay, so that like that can add dimension to the movement of how she's able to kind of float above all these things.
Yeah.
So looking at this, and this is the thing, maybe it's me with my kind of European / Western.
I mean, they're just
eyes.
aping Just Cause 4.
It could be, yeah.
Grapple hook wings.
This compared to Project Eve, this looks so much more engaging, so much more interesting, and with so much more to do. The one thing that I would say is slightly negative about the trailer that was shown, and it's something that happens in all mediums, which is don't set out a story in the sense that we might think, or you might think that we know what's going on. So they were talking about these people in the world. So we've got no idea who these people are, why that they're quote unquote bad.
Oh, like, yes, I'm the one you sought, the Gishkafkafaga. Like
Tartar Sila. Oh, she's the most dangerous and most evil Tartar in the land. What the fuck's a Tartar? Why are you even saying this? It doesn't make any sense because we don't know anything about the world that you've built. And it didn't build intrigue for me. It built a querying mind about why are you saying this? You could be doing this in a different way that builds that interest in the world.
I wonder if you're in the minority about that, Keith.
That's just me.
I was gonna say, because like for me or for other people I know, a lot of time they're like, for them it's like, it's more as if it's like an Easter egg. It's like, here's the egg, now like listen for it in other trailers and put the pieces together. That's what I. That's what I.
I thought you were going to go with the
This is not Elden Ring.
I was going, here's the egg. Later
spoken is not Elden Ring. We're spoken is not Elden Ring.
But Elden Ring was an Easter egg either. Like Easter, like. Yeah, like when they name dropped certain like not categories, titles and things like that in regards to like what the heck is that? I forgot what you said the thing was.
Tartar Sila. So Tartar is the title. What is a Tartar? But I know what a Geordie Slapper is, but I don't know what a Tartar is.
But I don't think that really matters because in the context of like what the trailer's trying to tell you, you get it. She's the bad guy. And it's like, it gives you some tints of the world and the lore that you're going to step into. And it's like, it's not, because I think you would have been more frustrated with the trailer been like if they would have been just saying like, oh yeah, she's just she's an evil woman. It's like, well, that's not something you would actually say in the context of the game at the moment with the character in the world. You would say she's the evil one from the Tartarus, whatever, and like, yeah, do you not understand at the moment like what it is because you haven't played the game? Absolutely. Correct. But like in context of when you play the game, you're like, oh, I know what that is. Okay, like.
But you run the risk of becoming a meme like Chaos in the Final Fantasy Origins thing.
Come on. Come on. We all know that.
And I seek chaos.
Who died? That was just, that's camp, man. That was just camp, bro.
That's what I'm saying. You just have to be careful because it can backfire on you.
But that's why Amy Hennig is writing this, and it's going off really well.
I have a question, and this is not a loaded question. Do you appreciate or enjoy isekai video games?
To be honest, I don't know what that is.
Isekai is stranger in a new world.
Oh.
Because 90% of shonen anime and stuff like that right now is isekai. So
it just depends on the writing and the content. Like it's not. I can't say Forsaken. It's never. I can never. If you ask me a question about anything, being like, do you like X, Y, and Z? If they do this in a game or a story or whatever, I always have to say it matters in context. Like you can never just say playing to say like, if you give me a sword, the game's always going to be great. Like no, like you have to give me context of like, how's the combat? Like what is it? How does it feel? What does it look like? So no,
but because you were harping on story points, especially with Amy Hennig being the writer, etc. I'm going to call it a trope, but the trope of stranger in a new world, is that interesting to you? in this exact context, is that interesting to you?
I've not got enough context to say whether it's
Yeah.
interesting or not.
Yeah.
The overall feel that I got from that is I need to see more to tell you whether or not this is going to separate me from my 70 UK pounds.
Yeah. My argument is
and
that C.S. Lewis invented the isekai with Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, I would say right now I think they're showing that, you know, I want to see more like Keith, but I am probably more on the veer of like, yeah, so far they're doing a good job, because I can tell by the writing and the vocalize of the lines that like there's depth to the character, and not just like, oh, we're throwing them in the world. She seems like you're going to spend some time in the real world with her before she even gets to that other world, where she looks like she was bullied or hurt, and so like there's context to that and build depth of character. And then when she gets into the world, it may be metaphorical for like her feelings. Like there's a lot of things you can do with it. So it's just...
I can see this story jumping between the two, like you were saying, Mitch. So she initially in the trailer you see her getting punched and bullied by a group of people. Then she's going to go into this magical place and have these amazing powers, and then jump back, and her attitude is going to change because of what she could do.
Or what she accomplished affects in the real world a little bit, and like gives her these like.
So you foresee her bouncing back and forth between the fantasy world?
So.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Sorry,
two
I missed that.
locations: New York City and the magical world.
One thing as well, two things that all the incels will hate. One, a strong female protagonist. Two, a strong female protagonist of colour.
That stood out to me as well. I love that.
Thank you very much. I will have more of this. We need more diverse characters in our games.
That didn't bother me at all.
Anything that pisses off incels is good for me.
Well, to be like, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but it didn't remark to me that it was a strong female lead of color as being anything out of the ordinary, or being something to like. And when you say it like that, yes, like, oh, like, yeah, that is something to celebrate. But like, I try and think, I'm like, well,
we're all barring apps being from Essex, we're all reasonable people.
All I was saying is because even just this very podcast, what have we talked about? We've talked about Bayonetta. We've talked about actually a majority of female-based video games, and they opened, with
but the vast majority of them are white.
With Aloy and stuff like that, but
and hypersexualized. Except for Aloy, she's not. But the ones that we talked about so far have been hypersexualized, which this doesn't seem to be. But also, can you name me another game where the main protagonist, who is a fixed person, so not an RPG character that you create,
not a create your own,
is a woman of color.
Was Remember Me a woman of color, or was she not? Because I didn't play.
No, she was white.
Okay, then no, I cannot.
The only one I can think of is Marvel's Avengers, but that's just because the character is written already as a woman of color. Kamala Khan. Yeah. But that's really, really recent. If I go back in history, no.
Yeah.
And so that, Keith, I will say that did stand out to me, and obviously not a bad thing at all. I was actually pretty happy to see that. Of like, it almost actually had me taken back a second to be like, oh my god, is she not white? It's like not being like, wow, good for them. Like, good for them.
Yeah, it's and then I'll let apps speak.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's a bit of a cheat. The only one I could think of potentially is Chloe Fraser from Lost Legacy. I know it's a spin-off, but we heard her with Nadia, and we're both lead characters in that. But yeah, no, I mean it's great to see this. So long may it continue. And it's really, and again, this goes back to the point about Amy Hennig's writing. She's quite bold in her writing and her choices. So her saying, yes, I am going to do this, and I want this person. The thing that I don't know is that could cause controversy is the ethnicity of the voice actor, which did cause controversy with Uncharted.
What was it?
For people that didn't
was it
know,
a white?
It was a
white voice.
It was a white voice for a black actress.
Okay.
And they justified saying that the voice matched what the character was supposed to be.
Yeah. But I really want to see more diverse characters in games. I really do. And this is only a good thing. And on that basis, I hope this game succeeds. Will it be separating me from my 70 UK pounds? Wait and see.
Before you move on really quick, I just wanted to say something because we are talking about like people with diversity and I just as someone coming from the Midwest, where a lot of the time people of my diversity was not a big thing. Like I was in Wisconsin, Minnesota, very north, middle of the state. And a lot of the times you have like one or two people when I grew up in high school, middle school, elementary school that were not white. So we had 2 black people we'd have in our class. We'd have 2 Muslim people in our class, and they were the only ones. Moving to LA has opened my eyes and beyond belief, not saying that I've been ignorant to people of different races or anything like that. It's that it has opened my eyes to really understand how diverse our world really is and how I really want to see that more in our movies, our television shows, and our games. And I'm so happy that there is a time right now where it is saying that diversity matters in entertainment. Yeah. And we are getting that more, and I'm happy to see that happen in games.
Yeah. Side thing exactly on that. We don't have to discuss, but whether you actually like the show or not, the character of Isaac in the Castlevania series was one of the best character arcs I've seen like all this year.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
even if those, yeah, it's great. That's a good call out.
No, yeah, like I was like, wow, damn, like I know he's not the main character, quote unquote, but to be honest, he had a better run than most of the main characters in this show. Good on you. Like, and so that was a really enjoyable character portrayal. So
right. Apps. Any thoughts about Forspoken?
No, it looks good.
What's next on the docket?
I've got some Control vibes.
Hold on, Apps is talking about Forspoken.
You can cut me off. I was only going to say.
No. I just wanted to know when I could take a bathroom break.
Oh, it's Rainbow Six
Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yeah, just run now. I warned him to do it earlier.
Yeah. No, it just looked cool. Like I said, it gave me like some Control vibes of the combat in that you're not using weapons necessarily, using powers. I know she's got a gun.
Infamous
in
too. I got an Infamous vibe.
Infamous as well. Yeah, with the movement and whatnot, and
just her hands sticking out and doing the magic that way. That's what gave me the Infamous vibe.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks cool, and it's on the radar to keep a look at.
That's definitely going to be someone's pick on the.
Well, they said what they say.
League.
Spring 2022. So
yeah, that's coming soon.
You want to lock them in. You don't want to be left short at the end of the year. So, yeah.
And talking of getting caught short, Mikey's in the bog. I'm going to try and use as many colloquialisms from the UK as I can this show. Rainbow Six Extraction.
I've got nothing to say on this.
This was a better showing than the one that Ubisoft gave at their E3 presentation.
It was shorter, wasn't it? They didn't waste as much of our time with this.
I disagree slightly, but keep going. You can.
So it was more succinct, like Joe was saying. It showed you what you needed to see. It showed you the world that you're going to be in. Some of they didn't waste time like in Deathloop re-showing loads of shit that they've already shown you before. Spoiler for future talk in this episode. And I liked what I saw. The problem that I have with the game is I struggle to get people to play with it as it is at the moment for times that suit me. I don't like playing with randoms that much, particularly in tactical games, because you need to make sure that everyone's got a headset, everyone's doing what they're supposed to, no one's going to be a griefing arsehole. So am I going to dive in and try and play this? Actually, this looked better than Back 4 Blood. What I've seen of Back 4 Blood looks a bit. This looked.
Yep.
But Back 4 Blood is free on Game Pass.
That's my point. Is that it's like if I'm going to play one of these games that are coming out that are co-op based type PVE games, let's just use Back for Blood and Rainbow Six as the examples, Extraction, I'm going to play Back for Blood. I'm not going to put hand in my pocket to play Rainbow Six Extraction when I can sit there and enjoy that, because to be frank, these games will have a shelf life for me of about a month, and then everyone will get bored, and then they'll go back to Destiny or whatever those guys are doing at the time. So there's always a short window.
Well,
and,
I would, I get what you're saying for the most part. I think maybe Extraction might have a little more legs because of how big Rainbow Six is. Rainbow Six Siege is.
Here's my question on that. Like, Rainbow Six is a highly competitive PvP intense game. This doesn't have that PvP element to
Not
it. It's
necessarily.
PvE only. I'm wondering whether people, like the guys that are playing Rainbow Six, what's it called? Siege. Are they going to be interested in this? Because it's going to be like, well, it's a bit lightweight for me. Like, we're here to. Like, I've played that game on the free weekends, and the people that play that in squads are insanely good at it. It's like, will they get the same level of challenge and progression and things like that from Extraction, which is a PvE game, than they do with Siege?
Siege has now moved into the competitive online, so there's a league now with real hard. I think they call them US dollars. I don't know if they're worth anything.
Well, here's the thing, fellas. So
Here's the thing.
Yeah, here's the thing. Well, one, going back to Keith's point, I agree with you. I disagree with you about the showing. I like the trailer. I wish they put this trailer at the beginning of their showcase of Rainbow Six Extraction, and then played the game like they did at E3. That's what would have been a perfect combo. But whatever. That being
Jim
said,
Ryan said you got 2 minutes max. That's all you're getting.
No. I liked that they had the long actually showing how you played a full mission. So like, I liked them that they showed, like, there's that little snippet of being like, here's a quick show, but then now let's go into the depths of the game. I like that. So I would have loved that for E3. But anyway, to your point about the PvP and being like, well, that's what they've been like recently. That's not what actually Rainbow Six is, though. Rainbow Six is an extraction game, and I think
Rainbow Six Vegas was a campaign for me and a bit of online.
Yeah,
and then Siege was a new thing. I agree.
I remember my dad playing the original Rainbow Six for the PlayStation 1 when I was a kid, and so, I think they can have both. I think they can have their cake and eat it too. They're two different styles of games, but I think one thing that they're doing to help bring people over from Siege to the next one is they're using the same operators. So the operators you're like,
yeah, but they're using the same operators for whatever that battle royale / arena shooter thingy.
Oh, the combination of Ubisoft universes.
Yeah.
Right, but it doesn't matter. Like, that's not the point. The point is, like, the operators they like to use in the tactical shooter, they can use in the extraction shooter. So, like, I think that is something that can carry over.
So basically, you're saying if you don't want to play the PvP intense thing, you can kind of go over here and use the same people, but in a PvE setting.
Or say you like the PvP and you want to mix up and do some PvE. Oh wow, we're gonna use a lot of acronyms here and a lot of short letters. But
it's like being at work.
But it's like,
fine, don't worry.
But it's like if you go from it's like you're playing the PvP version of Siege and you're like playing it and you're like, okay, I need a break of like doing that kind of stuff. Let me go to Extraction and like I can still use my core players that I like to play with. I can still use the guy that's got the hammer. I can still use the guy that's the killer sniper. Like, you can do that.
All your progress will be reset.
Yeah,
but the thing I do like,
and you got to pay 60 UK pounds minimum for this.
But the thing
if it was an add-on to like Siege, I would be more inclined to kind of go down your line of thinking.
But here's the thing: is Siege came out so long ago. These people didn't spend they're not spending $120 or £140 on buying both games at the same time. They bought this game years ago already. If they
spend it on operators, they're buying the new operators for £10 a piece and going, I got Axel.
Well, it doesn't matter. So anyway, I think the cool thing about it as well is it's not like they're going into the game without risk, because if you die you lose your operator, and you have to go to extract. You have to go extract.
And then you have to
them,
go and extract them
back
with a new operator.
Yeah. So like there is
kinda
risk, and that's cool. I like that. So yeah,
That's why you definitely don't want to play with randoms in case they tuck you up and leave you for dead and you lose your operator.
Exactly, and this is why I think this game is more exciting, more intriguing, and I think would ultimately be more enjoyable than paying Black for Blood.
Yep.
Yeah.
But am I going to pay for it? Probably not.
Well, who knows? They may charge in the beginning and then they reduce the price right away and go to free to play. Who knows?
Well, I think that the main thing is for a lot of this type of game, do I have enough friends? I've got no mates. And of the few friends that I do have, of who is spending enough time to dedicate and arrange all our calendars so that we can actually play the game. That's the thing for me more so.
It's like that famous meme of, do we want to play board games? Yes. When do we want to play? Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. It's like can't coordinate.
Yeah. Enough on Extraction?
Yep. Let's move on.
Right. Moving on to the Alan Wake remake.
Can we move on?
Well, and what I would say is Alan Wake is a good game. And if anyone who has never owned an Xbox...
I've heard this.
If anyone has never owned an Xbox should play this game.
Yep, I've never owned an Xbox.
That's all I'm going to say. If you've never owned an Xbox for whatever reason, this game is definitely worth playing.
It's 25 UK pounds as well, so it'd probably be $30 your side, which is pretty.
I disagree.
Pretty good for what it is. Like if you've not played it, that's a nice easy price. I've played it and I'm tempted.
I need to check my. Do I own Alan Wake?
Well,
if you have Game Pass, you own it.
No, on Steam. That's what I'm checking because I know it was there at some point. No,
the updated visuals that they showed in the trailer,
Steam,
do make the game look very different to what it did.
It was old. It's an old game.
But I also will say that game doesn't play very well. It's very, very jank. Very jank.
But it's still worth playing.
Because here's the thing.
I would argue it's still worth playing.
And I would disagree.
For $30, or even give it a month, it will go on a sale. Play it.
I disagree. I literally, actually, and I disagree extremely because I literally just tried to play this 6 months ago. And I just could not finish it. It was that god-awful to play. It was so boring to play. The story, yes. Is the story a little bit... It does have some intrigue? Yes. The story is not enough to get you through that. Get you through all that jank. Like, it's dated in a bad way, not dated in a good way.
Heard American Nightmare is really good. Was that a DLC or was that
it was
2? Or was that like Alan Wake 2?
It was DLC.
Okay.
I would have preferred a remake than a remaster. That's all. Like I think they could have done it better if they just remade the.
You're going to get the better version. You're going to get Alan Wake 2 announced in the next 6 to 12 months, and that'll be the non-jank version.
Yeah. To be honest, like it looked good, but it didn't look Hoochie Mama Project Eve good.
No, it's 9 years old.
Which did this game come out for the Xbox 360?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
its controls are like Xbox. That's how bad it is. Like when the character is moving, his animation is so god awful. It's like he's pouncing. He's going like this when he's walking from side to side.
The dodge move does look a bit weird, but then the dodge move in The Last of Us also looks weird. So it's just better animated.
But it's just so jank. It's so jank.
Oh, shut up with your PlayStation bias. Right, moving on. GTA 5 next gen.
Oh, you mean Rafa's drug for the day?
Rafa's tricked me. He was saying about it being in a new engine, it's going to be rebuilt. So I was like genuinely excited. I was like, I'll play through that if they've done some meaningful updates.
Crap.
Yeah, but it's Rafa. He doesn't mean to lie, and I was like, and he got me all hyped up for it. I put my Rockstar T-shirt on.
He just tells him that to himself, so he feels better about making the next purchase.
I got excited.
He went into his local game store and he bought some more shark cards, and then he had to send out a message saying, "Oh yeah, GTA 5 is going to be in a new engine. It's going to be all up-resed and all brand spanking new for next gen consoles." Fuck off.
Yeah,
I-
it looks
Not
like
even
the most
that. It's not
lazy-
even coming out this year, guys. That's
No,
even
it's
worse.
been delayed.
Been delayed.
They've delayed the
I
port.
should pull up his.
We know why it's been delayed.
Should I pull up his
Because
quotes?
they want to get the remasters of the previous 3D ones out, and then they'll release this. And then in the background, they're probably working on 6, which they won't announce probably until 2023 for a 2027 release date.
To be honest, I am avoiding GTA 5 out of spite now. Like, first I just wasn't interested, but now I've like literally been offered it free, at least through Epic, through something else. Like, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm never going to play ever.
I already have it from.
Well,
Epic.
the reason that they're giving it away for free on those things is trying to get you into GTA Online, get those shark cards.
And I will not.
Right.
Bite.
Screw you, GTA 5. Next up was Ghostwire Tokyo. Apps. Hit us with some Ghostwire Tokyo talk.
I don't know about this. I liked the Evil Within from Tango Softworks. So to see like something new was a little. I was a bit like, I would have liked a third version of that, but we're going to get Ghostwire Tokyo instead. I still can't see. I'm struggling with this one. It looks almost like Kojima's got his hands in it somehow. I know he definitely hasn't, but it looks so crazy at times with shadows and mists taking people away. It's just like, what is going on here? I still don't know what the gameplay loop is. Is it linear? Is it open world? What are we doing? And it looks like you've got some cool powers to take down these spirits that have taken over Tokyo. Another wait and see, but it's not giving me the.
For me, it's one of these games where the trailer could be way cooler than playing the actual game.
Yeah. It looks a bit like an arcane game, which isn't a bad thing, but then it's all weird and supernatural. But I don't know.
The other vibe that I got from this, sorry to cut you off at the end of your sentence, not really,
No.
is this a VR game?
Oh, it'd be sick.
Because the thing with the hand movements
They
that they're
would
doing.
have said a long time ago if it was. A
I know,
VR game.
but that's the vibe that I got from it.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I can see that
So-
for sure.
Meaning because it has the vibe of being very like, this is who you are. Like,
Yeah, very close. Very not just a first person perspective, but a very close up first person perspective, and a lot of focus on your individual hand movements. So,
I mean, they
That's
do
where
say face as one of the key words in the trailer. This is the thing about Ghostwire Tokyo for me, guys. It's that. Oh man, the trailer, the original trailer from this game has never lived up to what the actual game came out to be. And I think the tone seems to be a complete 180 from what I was. And here's the thing about expectations. We all have them. My expectations on this game was different. And the kind of like the last trailer that we got when we actually got to see the first pieces of gameplay kind of was a culture shock to me a little bit. And maybe it's also this game maybe did change between its development, because the game director left, and when she was talking about it, it sounded like it was much more of a horror vibe than this action.
It felt like her baby as well. Like,
Yeah.
she was so passionate about it.
She's so passionate about the project. But what I think is, I think this turned into an action game, which I think is what makes it not look as good. Because if I got these creatures in a horror setting in first person, and maybe, I do have these powers, but maybe they're really limited, or I can only use them for certain contexts, and I use them to either like distract or get away, or maybe even to defend myself. But for this seems like a high-powered action game set in like Japanese, like what's the word I'm looking for, supernatural, and so I think it just doesn't work. And for me, the other thing is, if you're gonna do melee style combat, first person is the wrong one to do. Like, this should be in third person.
I'm not exactly on that that bandwagon. I think it is definitely more difficult to do melee first person, but it is not the only way. But third person is not the only way.
Name a great one.
Name a great one.
Name a great first-person melee game. I don't think I cannot.
Skyrim,
Vermintide 2.
Morrowind.
Vermintide 2. Vermintide 2.
I don't even know what that is.
Warhammer.
It is the
EVE.
it's the high fantasy Left 4 Dead.
Hmm.
It has really good melee first person combat. It's not easy. It is not easy, but it is not the third person is not the de facto. I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying there is room for doing a good
Right, but I'm saying they're doing it bad.
What I'm saying is, I'm going to labour this point. Again, here's another trailer where do I feel like this is going to separate me from my 70 UK pounds? No chance.
No chance.
Oh, it's not. It's not. It's not. Zero.
And this is why I'm like not as hyped about the whole acquisition. Like, people are going crazy over this acquisition of Bethesda. 2 games from Bethesda that are coming to PlayStation are just not good.
The who's decided these are the 2 we're going to lock down exclusively for a year on PlayStation. But
I feel
like could have picked some other games.
Going back to the original trailer, I was actually quite excited about what the original trailer might be, and then we saw the first gameplay footage, and we spoke about it on the show. It's kind of what was this? How does this relate to the trailer that we showed? Because they look very different. If you go back and watch the first reveal trailer, very different to what we just saw.
The tone, yeah.
Oh.
The other thing I would quickly say is, I wasn't on the show with you guys. I was on Game Face when we got the last trailer, and I was say it looked. Oh yeah, give me the arms again.
Ooh, I was on Game Face. Probably getting told off by Shane.
Shut up, Mitch.
But when I was on the show, I did mention, and I only say it for context. So if people want to like see my quote in person, they can go back and go to the footage.
Episode 132.
Link and timestamp it in the YouTube description so we can
just so you can go see that. But anyways, I did mention of how bad the game looked visually. I will say this looks a hell of a lot better.
Oh, it looks clean and crisp.
It looks so much better, and I think them going to strictly PlayStation 5 probably helped this game a lot, because seeing if that was the PlayStation 4 version they were showing on the last trailer, I don't remember if they said if it was running on a certain specific game. It didn't look very good. This looks so much better. So I'm just except the character model. The character model does not look very good.
No.
I quite like some of the enemy designs.
The enemy design's awesome.
They're creepy as hell. So I do. I was so intrigued by what this might be, but I don't know. This is of the plethora of games that is going to be thrown at our faces over the next few years. Is this going to have space to fit into all the other stuff that we've got to play? Speaking of which, we probably need to move on.
Well, I was just going to say this will be probably a PlayStation Plus game eventually. That's what I see it as. That and Deathloop. I see those 2 games eventually coming to PlayStation Plus, so I'm just not buying them.
If it helps, Keith.
I have been waiting years for the Order 1886 to become a PlayStation Plus game, and it never has been. I made a promise to myself in the first month it came out, I will get this when it comes to PlayStation Plus for free. And it never has.
You should really just buy it. It's a good game. I liked it a lot. I wish it had a sequel. Go ahead. What's the next one, Keith?
Right, so it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, the Marvel games that aren't made very well.
And the reason that I was last time I saw this, I was mildly enthused. This one just kind of toned that down massively. It was kind of there was some embers burning within me, and someone just kind of doused them a little bit.
This trailer felt like it was them showing, look how funny we can be with the Guardians of the Galaxy material, and it wasn't funny.
Yeah,
the whole trailer was so focused on that, and I was like, this is not funny, really. Like you're not James Gunn.
Groot putting out the cinder on his Whistler, that was good. I appreciated that. Other than that, it struck me not at all. This game's going to be like this game's going to be like a 7.2, and it's fine. I just will never participate, even if it was given to me for free. I have way too much other stuff that I would play.
I would give it a go if it was given to me for free, but I'm not going to buy it.
No.
Yeah. So the thing that turned me off was that tonally they got this all wrong. And this has got to be in the game. And this whole heart attack scene was just god awful. It's almost as if
That's how it opened. That was the opening big joke. Was the heart attack?
It's
Big,
the fake heart attack.
Big joke.
Mm.
It's bad.
I like the dog being in it. The Russian dog they sent up. I'm assuming that's who that is.
Yeah, it is.
Can't remember his name.
The thing that really put me off as well is the second viewing of the combat. The more and more I see of this, does anyone know what James Stephanie Sterling describes this game as?
No, what did they say?
Anne's video game.
Huh?
And
So it's just. So
I don't get it. Sorry.
Guardians of the Galaxy just looks like quote unquote an video game.
Oh,
yes, instead of a video game. I specifically do this a lot, but so that's why it was funny to me. And video game.
So it does the combat sequences in this. They look really, really poor now. Some of the set pieces could be really interesting, and some of the character building might be interesting, but what you're going to be doing moment to moment just looks really, really generic. It looks like Marvel's The Avengers.
No, I excused it the first time we saw it because it was just raw gameplay footage, and I was like, okay, Square Enix are being quite open here. They're showing us like quite early footage. It was pretty much unbroken, and I was like, it looks a bit rough, but we'll see when it's been cleaned up a bit. But this did nothing to settle those initial fears, and I don't know how Square Enix have got access to Marvel properties, but they're just not doing a good job
they
of it,
bid for it, and Marvel said, yes, I will take this amount of money, thank you very much.
It's nearly as bad as when EA had Star Wars, but thankfully that's all over with.
Yeah, the more I see of this game, the more and more I'm enthused. Well, no, sorry, the less and less I'm enthused.
I was gonna say that's kind of
the more and more I'm unenthused. I was going to double neck.
It's almost like fitting to see this, and then we'll talk about it soon, of other Marvel properties from other developers, and then you just go, wow, it's just not
wasn't it
as
interesting?
Good.
Yeah, wasn't it interesting as well that after that one, straight splash page, pre-order now.
Yeah, I mean it's coming soon as well. That's the thing. There's not
October.
a lot of room for this game.
Yeah, it's
October. Without jumping ahead, I think part of the problem with this particular game is it feels like it's trying to be the MCU style of game that fits the films. Whereas what we're going to talk about later, it's clearly their own interpretation of it. They've got their own stamp when it comes to Insomniac's version of Spider-Man. This feels like it's trying to copy what the films had put in place and unsuccessfully. And I haven't played the Avengers game. I don't know if that suffers from the same level of like, oh, we've had a great big MCU film experience. Let's try and copy those characters and those tidbits from them. It just it doesn't feel like it has any of its own. I don't feel Square Enix's or Eidos Montreal's identity on this. It feels very much like we'll try and copy what's been put out there to the public to watch over the last 10 years, and this is, I guess, what we end up with.
Here's the thing. It's also, I think, it's just 10 years too late.
Well,
it's
the wave is that way down.
What's the thing? It's the Avengers game, and it's the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Those games are 10 years too late. Like right now. And it's just me. I mean, I could see it for other people as well. I'm slightly marveled out right now. Now, like Spider-Man is as a kid, I never associated Spider-Man with Marvel. Neither did I associate the X-Men with Marvel. And we don't get very many of those movies anyways, so it's not like it's oversaturated the market for me.
Well, the last ones have been trash, so just ignore them.
Yeah. Actually, I enjoyed some of them for sure. Elements of them for sure. But anyway, like even recently, I have not seen Shang-Chi yet. And usually as like I would go see these like day and date. I didn't go see Black Widow in the theater. Like I
did Disney Plus that one.
I didn't even Disney Plus that. I waited until it came out. I waited until I saw it in a different way not saying how I saw
I
it.
haven't watched anything since Endgame. I was like, I'm done. I was like, if you're going to say this is Endgame, I'm happy to jump off the train now
Yeah,
and leave it.
and like I haven't seen 2 of the 3 Marvel shows because the first one ending disappointed me so badly that I was like, okay, I'm not gonna try to get let down again by all
Loki, people are talking up Loki. I fucking hate it.
See, my friend enjoyed Loki, but anyway, it's just, these games are a little too late, especially because of the quality of them are not as on par compared to what you're saying, OTTAPPS, which is these other ones are creating their own world. So they make their own rules, and it's very unique and different because it allows them to really go, oh my God, I really want to know what their interpretation of this is. Like, I'm going to spoil it for Spider-Man. The first Spider-Man, Harry Osborn has the symbiote in a canister with him. And like, that's unique. That's not something that we've seen before. Like, it's unique and different. Where, yeah, these Guardians, sure, they're different, they're unique, but they're not hitting the punch. Like, if they hit the tone, I think we all be like, yeah, let's go do this. But right now, this isn't hitting the tone. Those other games are hitting the tone. Marvel's Avengers didn't hit the tone. So it's just...
Talking about tone, let's move on to something dark and gritty. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. The thing that confused the hell out of me with this was at the end it said, sign up. Sign up for what?
Beta?
Some sort of beta?
It didn't say. It didn't say if there was going to be an alpha or a beta. It just said, at the end of the trailer, it just said, sign up, and there was the web address.
I will say this was kind of fascinating. Like with the powers kind of adds a slightly new spin to the gameplay, which I was intrigued by. I probably will want to see more of this. And I've never played any of the Bloodline games. I've never played any of them.
Third person, more action orientated version of Dishonored, but with vampires, is the kind of feel that I got for this. Okay, you can make your choices and stuff.
Oh, here I was thinking more of like a Fortnite, because
it's a battle royale type game.
Is it a battle royale game?
Yeah, my understanding is that it's an online competitive, some level of battle royale. I can't find anything on. It didn't say on the PlayStation blog that I read earlier anyway that there was any sort of details around that. Someone needs to sign up
and find out what this thing is.
Well, it's free to play, so at worst, it's just going to take up some storage space. So if you did want to try it in the future, it's not going to cost you anything. It's just
maybe have a go. I'm definitely going to try it for sure. Yep, sign up now.
Yep. There you go. Sign up now. Don't know what you're signing up to.
You just gotta sign up.
You could be signing up to being experimented on by vampires, but you just sign up now.
Just because we have more interesting things to talk about, just go quick around the room. Because it's free to play, will you try it? I will say yes. OTTAPPS?
Yeah, I'll try it.
I might download it, but not launch it.
Interesting take.
That's a waste of gigabytes.
Mike,
I know. But I can get that storage space back. I can't get my time back, so I have to be careful about where I invest that.
Mike's Q?
Probably no.
Okay.
Probably no.
And again, this comes back to my issue around games where you need people to play with.
Yeah.
See, me, Billy No Mates, trying to coordinate something like this. I'm trying to play Apex Legends with people who aren't mic'd up, or if they are mic'd up, are just listening to shit rap music or shit pop music. Is really quite hard. So if you need to coordinate in any way, how are you supposed to do that? Yeah, I'll install it and then see if I can get anyone interested to play it. Speaking of, is there anyone interested to play this? The next up was Deathloop. So it's time to upset Evan with our thoughts that, does anyone actually care anymore? We've seen so much of Deathloop. I've got past the point of caring about it.
I've probably played the game for how much I've seen.
I've played it, I've forgotten about it.
I've played so many loops of this game that I don't even need to play it.
I don't know. I mean, it's out in a few days, so it's not long to know. I mean, look, again, it's not one of those ones I'm going to go out and pre-order. I'll definitely wait to see what the reviews are. They drop Monday, so by the time people are watching this on the archive, it may already be out, so you'll know whether it's maybe perhaps worth looking at. So I'm just going to sit back and wait a couple more days, and I'll see what the general vibe is. I've liked Arcane's past stuff, so it's got that going for it. But yeah, I'm going to just put a pin in it and see what the score is come Monday.
Mikey's so enthused by it. He's just looking at himself as picturing Sebastian Chabal. He said, I could have been a French international rugby player.
I could have
nicknamed the caveman.
I could have. To be honest, Deathloop does not intrigue me. I mean, I'm intrigued a little bit, but to be honest, me not being able to play it on PC is the reason I will not play it.
You can
That
play it
'cause of
on
the specs?
You can play it on PC.
Deathloop is PC as well?
I thought it was it's PS5 PC.
Yeah, it's on PC, but I saw the minimum spec and 4K 60. You need a 3080, and I was like, whoa, that's quite high for that. But
I'm not running 4K. Like I run 4K on my TV, but not for my PC.
No.
I mean, it's one of those things that I kind of have to see what people think about it, because there's a lot of, to be honest, I own so many Arcane games that I haven't finished. I own both the Dishonored's and I own Prey, and I haven't finished them. They're like on paper games that I should love, but for whatever reason I don't get around to finishing them. And so I'm like,
Just don't worry, Evan's done it for you.
I should probably, enjoy the other stuff first.
Is it even on PS4? Can Evan even play this?
Yeah.
Yes, PS4,
It
PS5.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping there's
Evan
going to be
can
cool
play
irony
this,
there.
and then he can. Evan, buy this next week, play it, and then review it for us on the next show. Either that or shut up about it. They're your two options. Right. So next was something that did look quite interesting and colourful. There was some colourful. I'm big on colouring games. I don't know why recently, but Cheer, from a studio I've never heard of, using things from some Polynesian mythology that I've got no idea about, and hopefully an authentic Polynesian voice acting. But you can be a seagull if you want, or you could be a crab and solve some puzzles.
Got the obligatory Breath of the Wild gliding mechanic. They got that in.
I wrote that down in my notes. It's in the notes.
Mm-hmm. You can do that. You can stroke crabs though.
Yeah, one per presentation. You have to have one.
You have to have it.
Hold out glider per presentation.
Just sorry, it looks like Deathloop's PS5 only. I don't know if someone wants to double check that, but Evan might be heartbroken on Tuesday when he goes to find it in the store and it's not there. Anyway, excuse me. Continue.
You
know what this game reminds me of? That canceled game called Wild, but it's just but a cheekier, like nicer, tongue-in-cheek, kiddier. Maybe kiddier's not the right tone, right? Nah, there's children, kiddier version. Where like you were supposed to like summon animals like a shaman, but here you just like transfer your essence into to the animal. It's cool. The trailer is really well made. Like, let's just put it out there. Like it's probably one of the best well made indie trailers I've seen in quite a while.
That is the best gliding imagery since Breath of the Wild.
Oh, for sure. And the one just. With you. But I will say the one thing I kind of wish is just to see a little more of like what is really going on, because I really don't know what's happening.
Well, I think it's about ecology. This is going to have a message about caring for the world. A lot of Polynesian mythology
as she
is
pets
about...
and the heart pops up above the crab.
Yeah, I know. He's cute. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
That was perfect timing, Keith. Perfect timing.
It's particularly when you see the thing just before this scene, or a couple of seconds before, where you see an island that looks like a power station.
Factory, didn't it? A big old
yeah.
power factory of some sort.
Maybe you use
So-
the animals to destroy it. But then you're
Yeah,
ruining the
well-
environment by destroying the factory.
Wow.
By putting the pollutants into your water, your nice water.
Well, maybe it's owned by British Petroleum, so lots of American people will want to go and blow it up.
Yeah, maybe they just nuke it and just like say F it.
Um,
Nukes are a wonderful thing. It's just like it's like you can celebrate.
War never changes.
This after I
don't know.
watched Chernobyl like 2 weeks ago.
This is the kind of game that I could sit down and Mrs. McWomble would want to watch, or even maybe want to play herself.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of
Yeah, you could play the
watchable
guitar
game.
for her. You could serenade her with the guitar mechanics and be like, look at
Well,
this
I
cool
could
song
get
I've
it's
the
made.
not a
ukulele
guitar,
out.
it's a ukulele.
Oh, is it a ukulele? Sorry. There we go.
Don't insult the culture.
Yeah, that's a 6-month ban.
Now,
Sorry.
OTTAPPS, now you got to do a public apology on Dimp Digital for your next episode.
I'll take the hat off so I don't smear the brand.
It was just nice to see something a bit different from all the kind of various different iterations of Murder Simulator. Talking of Murder Simulator,
Oh, yes.
next up was the Uncharted remasters. So Nathan Drake Murder Simulator, volume number.
At least it's only two. At least it's only one simulator of Nathan Drake, and the other one is Chloe murdering people.
Female murderer simulator. There you
Yeah.
go. Diversity.
You choose your sex.
Yes.
Choose your Murder Simulator.
For this, I picked up the Nathan Drake collection and I played through 1 and 2 and halfway through 3, and I want to finish 3, but it was
3 is my favorite.
no. Here's the thing is I was playing through 3 when I was getting ready for moving, and there was a lot COVID and a lot of other stuff was happening, so I didn't have the go hang out in the TV room for 6 hours after midnight and play through video games time as I normally did, and I just haven't gotten back to it, and I want to finish it, and I'm like, do I just finish what I have on the PS4? Or
Yes.
do
Yes,
I
finish 3. 3 is great.
Yeah, finish 3 and then do these.
no, do I get this collection and then play it on my PS5? Finish 3 on
No.
my PS5.
Well, you do both.
So finish 3,
Finish 3,
and then
buy.
play this on your PS5. And
I
it's
The
have-
strange thing for this is it's only the last 2 games. It's only
Yeah.
4 and
whereas
Lost
on the
Legacy.
PC you're getting all of them.
Wait. This for the PS5,
So-
it's only 4 and Lost
Lost
Legacy.
Legacy.
4 and Lost
yes.
Legacy.
And
Oh.
the rumor,
Lost
the rumor
Legacy.
was it was the entire series, but no,
Oh,
it's
5 of
only
them.
it's only 4 and Lost Legacy. I mean, yeah, 4 and Lost Legacy.
So for Insight, Lost Legacy, my favourite of the Uncharted games, and also Liam's favourite.
Good.
And it doesn't have Nathan Drake in it.
It doesn't.
I would say it's my second favorite. I really love 3. 3 is my favorite in the series.
I've been waiting to replay 4, because I was expecting there to be a 60 FPS patch for the Pro. It never came. So I'll buy this and play these 2. They're great games. It's been long enough. It's been like 6 years, isn't it, since 4?
I'm never playing an Uncharted game ever again.
Yeah, I don't need to play that
Jumping
again.
back in.
I enjoy. Maybe like 10 years from now, I'll play again.
No,
I'm going back
I
in.
would have moved on. It would in 10 years' time. It will feel like you playing Alan Wake.
Well, moving on.
That's true.
Moving on to
Oh no
something
no no
that
no!
we.
That Alan Wake is not timeless, bro. I can still play Resident Evil 1 and 2 and 3. Like
You
the
can't diss.
and they
you
are
can't diss
playable.
Alan Wake.
They are
and then come
playable.
up with that crap.
They are playable.
Come out with
still.
tank controls. Get out of here.
no.
If you weren't streaming this, I'd boot you. So next up was Marvel Wolverine, which if you didn't call this from the first 10 seconds of this trailer, who the hell are you?
Then you're not a Wolverine fan,
Yeah. So
or you never saw the first X-Men movie with Hugh Jackman, because that's like
Oh,
similar
God, that
scene.
so yeah, I really hope this has got an 18 or an M rating.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I hope so too. I'm pretty
I really
confident
hope.
it will. Like, the Insomniac would not buttercup it up for this. Like, no way. Like,
But would
if
Disney
just
or
look at
Marvel?
the scene like in the bar itself. Like, these
It is
guys,
quite gritty.
It is gritty. Like, I don't doubt
His
it.
knuckles are all scuffed
Ari's
up.
still
and
blood up. Like, it's gonna be blood.
He's got a
There's
cowboy
two
hat
guys
on
laying on a pool table unconscious.
that he's just weighed off. Yeah.
And it was that scene for me where I said, "Yep, that's Wolverine." Because there was I was saying to Mitch before we started streaming, there's a pane in the comic book Secret Wars where Wolverine gets onto a plane. He's absolutely plastered, and they're flying to Latveria, and he's got that exact outfit on pretty much.
Oh.
See, for me,
nice.
it was as soon as I saw Marvel, and then I saw the bar scene, and
The
then I
bar
see,
scene,
and
yeah,
I
it's
see
like, yeah,
just
that's
that
Wolverine.
right there. I was like, "That's Wolverine. That's the hat, the
Yep.
flannel. It's him." And then
Oh,
and then you focus
uh-huh.
on the hand, and then you're like, "Of course it is," because you got bloody hands. Like,
We get redemption for a game that wasn't bad in and of itself. Because remember, the Wolverine game came out as a like M-rated game.
Oh, that was so much better than the film. The film was
But yeah,
fucking awful.
before they neutered the film back down to a PG-13 rating. And like this, I mean, it's going to be Spider-Man cross Batman with a lot more knives and blood, but that is amazing. That is going to be insane.
Yeah, I want to see from like in Star Wars Dark Forces Jedi Knight. It was the first time you saw lightsaber combat where the stormtroopers would get their arms chopped off.
Yeah.
I want to see Wolverine going into fights, and I want to see people getting eviscerated. I want to see people's limbs falling off.
Yeah, it needs to be the Logan equivalent where we get to see a lot of that compared to the traditional X-Men movies.
And for how much like Insomniac is, I mean, PlayStation has just been doing accessibility in regards to like inside their games. I think for like people that don't like gore, I bet they'll do like a blood meter of like saying how much blood do you want to see, and like they
All the way up.
Yeah. Get mine beyond the maximum. Being
Turn
like,
down to 11.
I want to see
Yeah.
how much blood do you want to see in a scene? I want gallons. But
You want bile
Right.
and stomach fluid oozing down his leg after you've stabbed
Yes.
him.
I want
Yes.
God of War intestines like coming out of the
Yes.
stomach, like when did you guys remember God of War 3 when like you'd pull you
Yeah.
like kill the troll or something and his intestines
Or the Minotaur.
No, it was the
Yeah,
Minotaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Or-
centaur.
or-
The centaur.
Yeah, centaur.
And his
yeah.
literally his intestines come out. Speaking of centaurs, we'll get to centaurs in a minute because oh my god, I saw a centaur in a
You want
game.
brain,
And
you
I
want
went-
brain juice
Brain
oozing out
went
his
right to
cochlea?
God of War 3, and I was like, oh, I cannot wait to eviscerate the centaur. But anyway, I think if there's anyone right now, like Insomniac has proved themselves that like they can make a really good Marvel game. I trust them to come out with a good Wolverine game. The other hint for people that did not, if people don't know, didn't do Easter egg hunting, there is there's a license plate that says HLK 180,
Oh,
and that stands for Hulk. And there's a comic book series, and is specifically comic book 180, which is where Logan was Wolverine fights the Hulk. And if that's
It was the comic book where he first appeared,
yes, and so
and it was the Hulk and Wendigo,
yeah,
who's a lesser known
who first
villain
appeared,
in
Hulk or Wolverine?
Hulk. So
Okay,
it would,
Wolverine
In the
appeared-
arse.
so it would be amazing, and I think this is what they would do. Like, I mean, I would not be shocked if this is where they go with it. If they did this, it's gonna be a freaking amazing game. Like,
What I hope they do as well is if they include some of the members of Alpha Flight,
I don't even know.
which was the Canadian version of the Avengers, which Wolverine was part of and then left to join the
Yeah.
X-Men.
Yeah, 'cause he was in the,
It's like the,
he was the Canadas.
It's
Well,
like the
yeah.
here's
AFL,
the
where good
question for
players
you
leave.
guys. In a nutshell, like the last question to go around, because we have so many more stuff to talk about, is do you want this as an origin story game, or do you
No.
want it as like
Nope.
he's already Wolverine
no,
and
no.
he's fucking
No, no.
shut up? Like, do you want
No,
this as
like-
do you want this as what is it, like the way they did Spider-Man, which is not an origin story?
Yes, absolutely. No origin story. Don't care.
No, just like how any future Batman movie can please never be an origin story. Please let him be a seasoned Batman who knows his shit. Like who is like in the core of who he is. Like,
unfortunately, we're not getting that movie.
no, we're not. No, we're not. But for Wolverine, real quick, 2025, 2024. When do you think this is coming out? Because they gave a date
2020
for Spider-Man 2 of 2023.
Hold on, let me get to OTAPPS and then we'll do dates in a minute.
No origin story. Like, I think I was a bit apprehensive when the Spider-Man game came out, but they did so well that I was like, this is better than any origin story could have been. So why did I even think that was a good idea? So let's have seasoned Logan.
I would do a
maybe he's been inactive for a little while. I don't know, something like that.
See, this is what I'd like to have happened. So something has happened. He's moved away from the X-Men. He's gone back to Canada, and
gone on the piss.
So he then ends up fighting people like Sabretooth, Wendigo, and then you come for whatever reason.
A re-origin story?
And for whatever reason, Bruce Banner happens to be in Canada, and then shit gets real.
I think I would really like to see I would like to see a season Wolverine, but I would like to see a shootout to the past and like what their origin story is for him. So like maybe the Hulk because he's Bruce Banner and he's a scientist, like something comes up with that and where they explore a little bit of his past to like really know like what made Wolverine, but not it being like the overarching story. It's just like a little nuggets here and there to give reference to how he became who he was. Like I would like to see it that way. But yes. Mike's Q wanted dates. What do you think? What's your date? What's your year?
2024.
Keith, do I go for the over under? Well, it's not going to be 2023 because I don't want to eat into Spider-Man sales. So it's either going to be before or after. Do I think it's coming out next year? No, because they would have said so otherwise. 2025.
I'm going early 2024.
Yeah, like the March game.
The March game, yeah, because I think I have a feeling Spider-Man's trying to go for fall 2023, and then I think they want to like lead some stuff into Wolverine and just go like, it's gonna be here in a few months, guys. And plus they kind of been owning that March market too, so they kind of just release them when they're ready, and they seem to be ready in March. If not, this would be a good summer game. I think summer 2023 as well is a good window.
I'll slice people in half in summer. I'm up for that.
I'll say like the two trailers or the two trailers in this presentation made me put it a priority to get my PlayStation 5 back from my brother so I can finish Miles Morales.
Yeah, Miles Morales is good. Last thing that is interesting, they did not show his face. I'm very curious on if they're still kind of like playing around with how much they want it to look like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I was gonna say
would you love if Hugh Jackman would voice this Wolverine?
No, he's not going to do it. If the Deadpool 3 thing with that he and Ryan Reynolds pitched together, if that flopped, why would he bother doing voice VO for?
Because he doesn't have to get in shape for the role.
Did you guys like Deadpool 2? I did not.
I did. I thought it was okay. I thought it was an enjoyable film. I think it's better than anything that came out of the X-Men movies for fucking donkey's years.
I think it's still really good. I think they're two very different kinds of humored films, which I like. They go for a little more different style of humor.
You mean compared to Deadpool 1?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so I think 3, which was meant to be a road trip between Deadpool and Wolverine, that sounds like a fucking brilliant idea. Why the hell that did not get greenlit, I've got no idea. Talking of things beginning with G, that's the most tenuous of segues that I think I've ever done. Next up was Gran Turismo.
I mean, we've got a release date. I think that's all that needs to be said. Like, it's an important game for Sony, but
I will say,
very pretty.
It looks very pretty.
As having a brother who's a certified electronic auto tech, and understanding a little bit more of that world from him being involved in that world, even though right now he's in the military, I do appreciate it more. I'm like, that's really pretty. Man, this is like 896th on my list of games to play.
Yep.
I just am not like, yes, this is a tech piece. Man, that looks really cool, but man, do I have less than zero interest in ever playing one of these games.
I mean, I'm just not a racing fanatic, so like for me, it's just not my genre. But for racing
I agree.
fanatics, I bet they are like going bazonkers. Which then someone said in our Discord, which I thought was hilarious, was going, I wonder if they actually run the engines, the actual literal engines in the cars in real time.
Like, well, I mean, all the parts there, because
but like if you pop the hood mid game, like the hood popped off, would you see the engine pistons going?
I will at least give that to Gran Turismo. Their game or their trailer was probably the closest to, this is what you will actually be doing when you own and play our game. Here you're racing. Here you're in the menus. Here you're choosing parts. Here you're looking at expensive DLC options. Here's it was probably the most honest trailer of the entire presentation.
I think God of War was just as close to like showing what you're playing.
I'm not a big racing fan.
God of War did not show any menus. They did not show any actual video games.
God damn it, show me the menus.
They did not show any HUD.
That HUD.
I guess, yeah.
I spent a few hours playing Forza Horizon 3. Am I ever going to pay for a racing game? No. Will I play Forza Horizon 4 because it's free on Game Pass? Possibly. But I don't know, for whatever reason, racing games don't grip me.
I'll probably play for 10 minutes as Forza for me, just to play.
Yeah, so this is a non-entity for me. Yes, it looks very pretty. Yes, I appreciate all the attention to detail that's put in. I'm never going to play it.
No.
I mean,
for me, it's got to be...
Oh, whoa.
We lost.
No, we added, but I don't have 5. Dan, I don't have a 5-setter.
How dare you?
Crap.
Well, it's okay.
Keep talking while
it's
Smith
okay.
has kittens.
Here, no. OTTAPPS, you lean left and I'll lean right, and we can share a space.
Up on the wrong one.
No, that's not how it works, fellas.
Oh.
Wait. No, but that's how it was working. For a second.
I'll just keep playing B-roll until I get it fixed.
It's one of these things. Like I said, I appreciate the level of commitment that the developers have put into this. I really, really do. I just have literally no interest in it.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything against it. It's just, yeah, I'm not going to utilize it ever again, or at all.
I'm going to play a racing game, quote unquote. It has to be motorsport, proper motorsport, as in the F1 games that have pre-practice qualifying. I like that session, not just jumping on the track with an Aston Martin.
If I'm going to play a car-based game, it'll be whatever abomination they make as the next Twisted Metal.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate these games what they are. They're very pretty. They're important to the PlayStation brand. So
they are.
We've got to release that. Well, they probably were. They haven't sold particularly well, considering I think there was on about 12 million sales for 5, and then 6 was more like 5. But we talk about PlayStation always churning out the same games, third-person action adventure story. Like this, at least caters towards another market. And
it's another genre.
Where is the gratuitous anime character butt shot in Gran Turismo?
There's no story, you see, so they don't even try.
Oh, what?
Just a little racer that's trying to build up their career.
It looks like Dan showed up to ruin everything just right at the end. And also, right. Has Dan showed up in the middle right at the end wearing a horrible away All Blacks jersey?
No, it's a Hurricanes jersey.
Okay. Right country.
Right country, wrong club. I mean, it's not a country, it's a club, but they're a club within the country. Yeah, from like the 90s, I think this is their jersey in like 98, I want to say. 98.
This is not trying to fill time whilst
no,
Mitch
just move on.
out
Just move on to the next game. I'll just play the B.
Oh, can we? Please.
Yeah, I can.
Because the last two, I would like to say as was it SUTMM?
What?
which would be the acronym for "Shut Up and Take My Money."
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So we had Marvel Spider-Man 2,
Oh,
which
at the right time.
freaking brilliant trailer. Please, Sony Pictures, for the love of God, give whoever makes your trailers, fire them all, and then
Give them these guys.
Give it to these guys, and let them make your movie trailers. Because
That's
your
why I
movie
refuse
trailers
to watch.
suck balls.
Yeah, I refuse to watch any of the Spider-Man movie trailers because I'm like, I'm going to be spoiled on the first 40% of that movie, if not more. And so,
Oh, such a good trailer. Yes,
We're all sorry.
we
We're all
have-
just watching the trailer right
we're
now.
just watching the trailer.
'Cause of-
So the VO, absolutely, that is Craven the Hunter.
Yes,
for anyone
which
who
is
doesn't
so
know who
Yeah,
that
it
is.
is Craven the
Awesome.
Hunter. I was excited about that. Yeah.
So Craven is someone who, if you don't know your Marvel lore or your Spider-Man lore, he was a major character in the Spider-Man comics. He was given a life-saving serum, which gave him heightened powers similar to Wolverine, in the sense that he had heightened senses, heightened strength. But he was a big game. He was I can't remember if he was a big game hunter or if he worked on a nature reserve protecting the animals. I can't remember if it was one
they've
of the
done
two.
both iterations.
Yeah, I
He,
think in the
well,
cartoon.
he
they've
did.
done
Well,
both.
no, it was he hunted big game, but he dated a life. Sometimes the relationship he was within was someone who valued was it life
Animal life.
Animal preservation.
Yep, animal preservation person, and then she changed him, and then he hunted other people.
So what he's doing is he's looking for people who are equal to him in skill.
It's basically
Who-
basically being like, you need to be as
Who,
good
are,
as
who, is,
I am.
who is worthy of the hunt.
Mhm.
Mikey,
Yeah.
go for it.
has he ever been Venom before?
He's not
has
Venom,
Craven
though.
the Hunter been... No.
But he's not Venom.
He's never been infected with
that-
the Venom symbiote.
It's just
Oh.
it's two separate characters speaking
Oh.
to show the two different villains you get.
So
Yeah.
my understanding is he's laying down the
okay.
challenge, and Venom's answering saying, "Will
Yes,
be the
Yeah.
challenge."
because Harry
So-
Osborn is Venom. He's in the tank
Yeah,
at the end of
exactly.
Spider-Man. So Harry Osborn is going to be Venom, unless the symbiote moves from Harry
So-
Osborn to someone else. which
Well,
is
and that's what
possible.
that's what the symbiote does.
Right.
Yeah.
But like it's just an original to have Harry Osborn be the Venom.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
like I was super excited about that. Like, oh, they're gonna make Harry Venom. Oh,
Which, based off the relationship that they talk about in the first game, it sounds like that will make it way more fascinating because they actually have a real like friendship and a relationship. But my thing, when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, so this is what's gonna happen in my brain is instantly went to, the symbiote transfer is going to go to Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man maybe become Venom, and then Miles has to kill him, and then Miles becomes the official Spider-Man.
Let's wait and see. Do you know what this did for me?
Or you just get to
Shut
play
up,
as
Dan. You
both.
show up late and then try and step on my lines. Who do you think you are?
Sorry.
So what this did for me is Miles Morales. I was thinking, yeah, that looks cool. I'll look forward to playing that on a PS5. Seeing that said, I want a PS5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, that's different.
So it's a very different mentality that came out of me. Dan, you were saying before you so rudely stepped on my line.
Sorry, I was just going to say that maybe you probably are right, Mitch. Maybe, but I was going to say it means that hopefully we can play as both at different times in the game, and maybe even potentially cooperatively.
Well,
Maybe?
I don't want to
I
burst
don't
your
think
bubble.
cooperative. No.
Here's from the PlayStation blog. We are so thrilled to continue the journey of both Peter Parker and Miles Morales in their most epic single-player adventure yet, coming exclusively to PlayStation 5 2024.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
here,
never mind.
but, like you'll see. Here's the thing: in the Miles Morales game, they have done some really good sequences of showing co-op together, but not like single-player co-op. Like you have another player with you. That I think
It's called tag team.
Yeah, tag team. So that they showed that that they can make it work. So like you'll play as Peter Parker probably the entire game or a vast majority of the game, but the moments where they team up together will be really cool because they like you see it in Miles Morales. You've seen the technology work, and so I think that's where maybe that's why they made Miles Morales to try to make the tag team combat work out.
Do you think you'll get to pick at the beginning of the game?
No.
And
Mitch,
then play two different campaigns?
It's story.
No, you're
it's
going to
purely
interchange between the characters.
Yeah, they're going to pick.
We
for
saw
you.
Rockstar present GTA 5 with seamless character switch. So if that's the sort of enhanced and expanded edition of GTA 5 we're going to get, Insomniac have got to jump on that market employer. Seamless Spider-Man switch, crash bang wallop, SSD, wouldn't be able to do it. Jim Ryan will be all over that.
No,
I
thank
think
you.
you'll be able to switch. I think there'll be sections where you play as both, but I don't know how split it'll be.
Sure.
It feels silly to have done Miles Morales and not give him a significant portion of that, though. At least like 40-50%. That's what I
agree.
It depends. I mean,
Otherwise, don't put him in the trailer.
People love Miles. I love Miles.
Yeah.
I love Miles too. That's why I picked him to potentially take over as Spider-Man by the end of this game. But I don't know how much of the portion will be. It'll be interesting because this is the first time they both had their separate game, but technically Miles's was a smaller game. So like, will he have a smaller part? Because Peter...
Is the part of this, like you were saying, does Peter get taken over by the symbiote, and then you play as Miles to rid him of the symbiote?
Yeah.
So,
and maybe that's near the end of the game. Whereas, because here's the other thing: there's Kraven the Hunter involved too. So like they may get separated, and Kraven trying to hunt them separately, and so you'll have moments where you'll play as Miles, and maybe Miles's villain is going to be Kraven, and Peter Parker's villain is going to be Spider-Man. I mean, yeah. Well, they're both Spider-Man, but like it's hard to separate the two. But anyway,
or it could just be a gameplay switch because I do like that. As in halfway through the game, your gameplay mechanics change by playing with Miles after you've been playing with Spider-Man for half the game.
I mean, they don't play that different, to be honest. So it's not really that.
I wouldn't know because I don't have a PS5 with the game.
The abilities are pretty different.
I played it for PS4.
Scumbags.
His is different, but it's not a night and day difference. Like it. I prefer Miles in the combat. 100%.
I know what you mean, but I'd say combat-wise, Miles has got a bit more dynamism with him.
Well, because he has the electricity, and that's the only reason.
The Venom Punch and Cloak. There's a few other good things he's cool. They're cool, but they can make it work. It's Insomniac. They're wizards.
Yeah, they are wizards. It's true.
Right.
They're demons.
So, we're going to move on because we spent far too long, and I'm getting messages saying when are you going to wrap up.
That's just from me.
So, God of War Ragnarok, again, shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was surprised we didn't see a release date, to be honest, after we kind of... I don't know if they said officially it was been delayed out of 2021, but...
Yeah, they officially said it.
They officially said it, so I thought we might get, it's coming summer 2022 or... Like,
they don't want to... I don't think they want to delay again.
No.
So I think that's why they didn't give us a release date.
Fair enough, but we saw a lot of it. It looks really cool. Like this is and it's a two-parter, isn't it? They've said that this is the second part of this this mythology version of God of War. So actually, it's not going to be a trilogy.
No, there's 3 parts. Corey Barlog has said he has created the outline for at least 2 more titles.
Yeah, is it based in the Norse?
No,
yes.
I thought this was the last North.
I thought this was the last one.
And then they're moving to Egypt for 2 more. That's kind of what I gathered from it.
No, the original plan was to go to Egypt, but this is their...
Yeah, this is where some speculation online started about the tattoo on Tyr's arm. Yeah. And there's photographs of it saying it's got Egyptian hieroglyphs on a Norse god's arm. However, you don't actually see the angle.
Yeah, so I think it might
in
be
the trailer. So I don't know where they've got that photograph from to say that these are the hieroglyphs on Tyr's arm, because the only angle that you see.
Well, and they
also
also
did release an image on the PlayStation Twitter account of him.
But the other thing,
the event.
Well, yeah, but then also like technically they also in the first game they show many, including Egyptian hieroglyphs when they're showing about all the different realms of outside of Norse mythology. They they originally were going to do it in Egypt. They just changed their mind, but that does not mean they're not going to go to Egypt eventually. But to my knowledge, in the interviews I've heard from him post the first game, he said he had an outline for more than one game after this, that there's multiple games.
Yeah.
Because
I thought remember, listen, this was the last one in Norse mythology.
I have the quote here. Okay, we can potentially end this. Speaking during the PlayStation Showcase's post-show interview, Eric Williams, the director on the sequel, was asked if Ragnarok will happen within the game, the Ragnarok section. You can't call the game God of War Ragnarok and not have Ragnarok happen, blah, blah, blah. What he next says is very interesting. Quote, it's going to happen. We're going to cap off the Norse series with it. End quote.
That's what I thought. So it's the last game in Norse mythology. So then there's 2 more games in Egypt or whatever mythology they decide.
Interesting. I feel like this is... Then I'm actually disappointed. This game, it's
You don't want my PS5 anymore. You don't want
I think I'm excited. The stuff they showed us in the trailer is literally just scratching the surface of the game. That's what I think.
Yeah,
this game goes a lot deeper than we could even imagine.
Well, I mean, if you didn't know that wasn't going to be the case, then you didn't play the first game. Like,
no.
But like, to me, it's more of the option of that. The first game was just an introduction to the world. I felt as if this one was setting up a major conflict where the resolution would come in the third and final game, that it like all out war with the Norse gods or whatever happens. And maybe I'll be very surprised that like they will find a way to be able to make this all like work in regards to like there will be some kind of major conflict, or I just don't want to walk away in this game and not having some kind of major conflict with the Norse gods.
Well, I think what might happen is Ragnarok might happen, but to save the Norse realm and save the Norse gods, Odin might expel Kratos, and he might send him to another period in time, which would be the Egyptian.
No, it's not. Sorry, to clarify the realms, it's not necessarily a period in time that he's in, Keith. It's that literally he just went from Greece to Scandinavia, and then he could just walk to Egypt. That's how these worlds are connected. It's not by time, it's by location in the world of the planet. That they think that area is the world, but it's not the world.
Okay, that makes very little sense in terms of mythology and chronology, because those happened in very different times. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be really, really horrible to Mitch and say, I need to go.
After I
fixed it all. He's got to redo all the boxes again.
No, I don't have to redo them all, but I literally just finished like setting it all up for 5 boxes, and now you're going to do this to me.
I don't mean to do it on purpose. Yes, I do. But
shall I leave him 5 more minutes so he's got to do it again, and we'll slowly just sort of trickle out.
And then it's just Mitch at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to hear what Mike had to say.
By himself, surrounded by boxes. Right, I am going to leave it there. On the 2 cases of shut up and take my money. My intention is to get a PS5 some point early next year, when stocks may be replenished. Get that.
Need a hand? Can you give me a shout? I've got an uncanny ability to get them because of working from home has helped. So if next year you want that, shout, and we'll try and sort something out.
I think by that point stocks should be fine, and I shouldn't have to buy them second hand at a markup.
No, I will mark it up also.
That's me. Dan, thanks for showing up and ruining everything.
Sorry. I try my best. I always join in at the end for the better conversation. I'm glad, because the 2 games I wanted to talk about I joined for. So there we go.
Right. Thanks very much, everybody. And on that note, I'm out.
Bye, Keith. Oh, look, that was seamless, Mitch.
Mikey, what did you want to say? Because you had your hand up for ages.
No, because what I was going to say is I'm actually super excited that they are going, the second game is the end of the North arc of the story, because remember, we had all those rumors swarming around that. All right, we have deals for God of War 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm like, what? They're gonna drag the Norse mythology part of this out to 4 or 5 games? I'm gonna be into my 5th kid or something like that by the time this game actually wraps up. And
going back to what Mitch said, Mitch was talking about Corey had an outline of a story for multiple games. I think there's still going to have that narrative thread in that it's going to be Kratos and Arceus that are traveling together. It's just that the location, like you said, is moved, but that relationship, that overarching story of father and son, might take place over 3, 4, 5 games. It's just that the characters in this Norse world are being wrapped up and dealt with in whatever way they see fit. That's how I kind of, infer those comments about having a longer storyline going. It's to do with those two characters and how they interact as Atreus grows up into a man.
I easily see Atreus betraying Kratos at the end of this game, and then
they slice him in half with the axe.
He's banished to a new realm. I mean, that could be something where and then he has to come back to. But then, so that's where I don't like that them being so because we don't. I mean, that's what's so great about these games, because they're just so detailed and so well thought out.
I'm glad
that when he says it's ending the Norse, he's not, because we don't know the full context. We don't know the full context. It's just But
to be honest, I would not be upset if both Kratos and Atreus, Loki, because we've all played the game, has they both move on to a different pantheon.
Yeah, I hope they do.
To be honest, but I'm actually super excited, because they're they are wrapping up Odin, Thor, all this shit in one game.
See, that's the thing. I'm
super excited.
But they're so good about doing that kind of stuff. But the reason why the first game was so good was because there wasn't as many characters, and that's what they said that they liked about it, was that they when they were writing the game, the first game, they felt like they were writing the second game, because there's so many characters, and they're like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna make this work within a new world and context and characters and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, throwing the pantheon at everything and throwing the garbage chute at everything, I just worry it could get messy now. Ooh.
It definitely could get messy. But
it's going to get messy, but I don't know if I can play another game in Norse mythology after this one. I'm excited for this one, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I could still be in that world. I think
if they set it up correctly...
I'd be looking forward. And I can see, obviously, that they are moving away from some of the snowy worlds, snowy realms in this one. But how many realms?
We saw a town with normal, human NPCs.
Yeah.
Well,
it wasn't just...
No, but the one area that looked like a fishing town, it had normal people walking around that weren't a disenfranchised head, or weren't a otherworldly dwarf that could pass between realms. It looked like some actual normal people, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm just I'm still excited. I mean. And then for people that don't know, Cory Barlog isn't directing this game. He said he would be stepping away from the project anyway when he finished the first one.
Yeah, I missed that.
One years ago. But to be honest, it's with tradition of God of War. They with Sony Santa Monica, a lot of the times they will have new directors on every single game to kind of give opportunities to new talent.
As I said in the post-game interview, they're like, Cory Barlog is unique in that he's the only person who's directed multiple God of War games.
Right. And they're very different from each other.
It does sound like he's still kind of
he's involved. He's involved.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's
Like, they're definitely playing out his story and his plan.
his
Whether
It's a
he's joking
direct, it's a
his
again or not.
direct
vision.
sequel as well. Like
It's
a lot
his
of the
vision.
heavy lifting has been done with that first reboot because it was like, what is this? What is this reimagining of God of War going to be?
Plus,
like, is it going
some
to
of
be any
these
good?
well-
They've done it. They've done the heavy lifting in my view from
Also-
a gameplay perspective.
I just want to say, I love Christopher Judd. I loved him in Stargate, and I'm so glad. I just love his voice. It's fucking fantastic.
He's the man.
Yeah,
So I
love Christopher
I
Judd.
do like though, and the reason why people are like shocked that this game is coming out so soon after the first one came out. It's like, guys, you know, you can even see it in this game. They are going back to some of the realms they've been to before while introducing some new ones. So like some of these assets are being reused, which is totally fine. Like it's it makes sense.
Which
in the
makes sense
in
for being a
context of the
PS4 and
world.
PS5 as well. Like a lot
makes
of
sense
people are
why
like,
they
oh,
can
it's,
run it.
it's yeah, it's mostly there.
But then I think
I'm
to myself, if they do go to Egypt, how amazing Egypt's going to look. In like, if you think about that Unreal Engine 5 trailer of them like going to that like pyramid type building, oh my god, it's going to look fucking fantastic. If they do that down that.
I don't like Egypt at all. So I'd rather them tackle a different mythology. Like I don't want to do Egypt.
Okay, all right.
But there's not really any other. They're going to do Chinese, I suppose.
That would be
hold on.
amazing.
Yeah, they could do Chinese mythology. That'd be pretty cool. Or Japanese.
Are the Mayans chopped liver to you?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Mayans, but South America, I don't. It's not European, is it? or south of Europe, like in Egypt.
It's on the other side of that ocean.
Yeah, don't consider it.
I don't know what the Mayans would. How would that? I don't know. That'd have to be a lot. I mean, I trust they have a lot of smart people at Sony Santa Monica for sure. But it's just that's a lot of heavy lifting from them to like try to come up because the mythology of the Mayans is still very secretive and not known compared to other cultures that would be very difficult for them to really do it justice.
Also,
but I mean
like
they did. The Mayans got a decent shake with the Tomb Raider games.
That's true.
But
that's not enough of mythology to like have like gods and demons and things to be able to like create characters and have enemies for. Like the Tomb Raider movies, I mean the Tomb Raider games that was just like very basic. And a lot of it's sacrificing, not necessarily they have a specific god. Like they don't have like multiple gods like something like Greece mythology or Norse mythology does. Like even Egypt doesn't have.
They're just not quite as distinct as the ones we're familiar with.
What I would say is the why I'd like the Egyptian one is because obviously Christopher Judd. It would just feel like I'm back watching Stargate SG-1 when he says "Ra" and shit like that. It'd be awesome.
And that's why I don't want it.
God of Ra.
Love it. Yeah.
All right. Well, any last minute showcase? Why don't we give it a letter grade? Because now I've taken over the show, so therefore we can do what I want and not what Keith wants. Haha. That's why we make him wait so long, so then he has to get off. Just kidding. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. All right. What letter grade? Like, if you're gonna give this. Oh, actually, how about this? Is this better than E3?
I would rather sit through the 40 minutes that Sony just showed me because it's half the time compared to what Xbox showed me at E3, and then again at Gamescom. Like I've spent 3 hours watching, so many games that I don't necessarily care about, and in 40 minutes they've kind of given me 3 really big ones that I'm super interested in. So I would take the time back that I'd lost on those showcases, and this is.
And you know why I love it? You know why I love it? Because we know what games are coming out already this year and the early part of next year. They didn't show us any of that. They just showed us new stuff or expanded stuff for games that are a bit further away. Yeah, I'm all over that life. Like I'm already in for the games that they've already announced and that are coming out in the next 6 months. So I didn't need to see anything from there. So apart from like the cameo trailers they always do at the beginning and the end. So that always goes well with me. So yeah, I think it was better personally, but that's just me.
Sony's individual conference or this presentation was better than any individual conference of E3. It'd be hard pressed to say that it alone was better than all of E3 or all the different possibilities and games that we have that came from E3, but it being so close that it's hard for me to tell
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
definitely pressing on the rest of the industry.
I would say I would agree with you, Mike. Except I would say there is a close second, and that's Nintendo. They did shock.
Yeah.
They did shock and awe us, especially with Metroid. So like I think they had a what the F moment, just like this one did.
It's not Prime. It's not Prime. What are you talking about?
Anyway, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like,
Don't care about a 3DS game.
The Metroid game did give me a shock and awe of like, oh my god, and then this Wolverine gave me a oh my
Yeah, I'm
god.
so excited
So
for
like
that.
that, so like they both hit the mark, but I think obviously Sony did a better job just because of the quality of the games that they have coming in the crapshoot. They have a lot more in the future that has people looking forward to. But yeah, I would agree with everybody to say that this was better than E3. I think it's even better than overall E3 because, to be honest, the rest of the announcements were lackluster from all the other conferences.
I still don't really know what game I'm actually waiting for on my Xbox. Does that make sense? Like every game I've played so far that's been first party has been very indie, in my opinion. Like 12 Minutes I enjoyed, but it was very indie. With the other ghosty one that is now coming to PlayStation.
Have you tried Psychonauts 2 yet?
I haven't played Psychonauts 2, but I kind of watched them. I
Still
watched
indie
actually,
though.
I watched Mitch play it, and it looked quite like second party. Like there's nothing that's blown my socks off, and I'm not a massive Halo person, so I don't know if that's going to do it. So yeah, when it comes to, it's amazing. It's still my Game Pass machine. It's going to be my third party Game Pass machine. If it comes on Game Pass, I'm going to play it on my Xbox. If it doesn't, I have to buy it. I'm going to buy it on PlayStation.
Yep. You need a PC, a PlayStation, and a Switch, and
You're done.
Yep.
Actually, you.
But-
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
like that's like
what I
a
have.
$2,500 of investment. So
Well, that's what I have right now. Is what I
Yeah.
just do a PC. I don't even need an Xbox. I have a PC. I never will ever have to buy a Xbox ever.
however, what I do recognize, at least from doing the Game Pass or Fail, is that
Yeah.
like doing the voice of that is that it is not a 1-to-1 of what's available on
Correct.
PC
The
and what's
library's
available on
limited.
No,
console.
it's not. There's a lot of stuff
Yep.
that's missing.
Yeah. Because the person that does Game Pass or Fail doesn't have
Well,
the
it's like
console. They just have the
No, no,
PC
It was like the
version.
Gears Tactics. It was like Gears Tactics came out on the PC Game Pass like almost a year. Was it a year or 6 months or 8 months before it
Yeah.
came out on the
Crusader
console?
Kings as well has come out before, isn't it? They've got a
technically,
couple of
well,
things, so-
technically, Gears Tactics, just never released in general for the console until later because they didn't have the console version done.
No.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
it wasn't
but yes,
available
I
for
mean-
console date and date when it was for the PC. So like that makes sense in that context.
No, but I know, but I'm just saying. But it's the same way around for the console version, surely. Or if they're not going to do a PC version, it's the same.
No, it's not that. It's that it's like you could play Resident Evil 7, right? I mean, Resident Evil 8. No. Yeah, 7. You can play Resident Evil 7 right now on Game Pass on the console,
Yeah.
but you can't play it on PC. There's just
It's
some
their-
games. There's just some games not because they
it's their
don't. It's not because
It's their
they.
third-party offerings. Like some of those, the publishers don't want
The publisher didn't
PC
have.
people to not pay for it, so they
Right.
say
Yeah.
on the console you can have it.
overall, the console technically has a better offering on Game Pass, which is
Correct.
good. Like for most,
Yes.
for
But
the
the-
wider populace. But
Right.
Unless
for
you want
PC,
to play real-time strategy.
But the
then
really,
PC has-
but the really important games that you need for Game Pass, the ones that are coming date and date first on Game Pass, all come to PC as well. So it's worth
Yes.
it for those.
Yep.
If you're using it as just a Game Pass machine, that's what it's meant for. That's what it's there for. All right. So thank you for joining us on Pixel Pints. We are Pixel Pints. You can find us on twitch.tv/pixelpints where we stream every single week, and you can check the archives on Twitch and YouTube. Just find us on at Pixel Pints, and you can also look us up on Twitter at pixel_pints. We will tweet every single time we go live here on twitch.tv/pixelpints, or you can find us on Instagram at pixelpintspod if you want to listen to the show instead of watching our beautiful faces. Yes, that's right, OTTAPPS. Shoot the guns. Yep, we sexy. You can find us on any podcast service you use for your podcasting. You just look up Pixel Pints. I am joined by Mike's Q, Dan, and our special guest OTTAPPS. Do you want to shoot in your stuff really quick before we go?
Oh yeah, if people want to listen to
Your face.
my face and my voice for more, then every Monday you can listen to Idle Game Chat. Just search for it on any podcast outlet, YouTube or Twitch, and you'll find the latest episode there, and that drops every Monday. So yeah, thank you.
Still waiting for my invite. Just saying.
I know. We've done no cross.
Shade.
I said this year we'll get people on.
I'm just messing with you. Shade. All right. And on that note, gentlemen, we are out.
Awesome.
Is the music playing?
Yes.
I'm sad, OTTAPPS, you can't make it to the NFL.
I know, it sucks, doesn't it? Yeah.
I'm going to my game tomorrow.
It would have been my team as well, the Jags.
Yeah, Jags, that's why I did it. I clicked it for you, because I was like, I was OTTAPPS' team. Because I can't stand either of them. But
yeah.
to the, me and Keith are going to meet. I'm going to meet Keith's wife.